everybody, how's it going? Happy Saturday! Ooh, I forgot to check the scene to make sure. Yep, that is a black screen because I don't have the right thing up. Sorry. I was definitely prepared. Which one do I need to put up here? That one. There we go. There you are. There we go. There's the video game. Okay, hey. How's it going, everybody? Hope you guys are doing well. Hope everyone's having a great weekend so far. Welcome back on in. It is Ace Attorney Saturday, so you know what that means. Playing the video games. We're doing mystery and court cases and investigation and all that good stuff. So it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Our goal today is to finish the second case where we are posing as Susato-san is posing as a cousin to Ryunosuke, so you know, not awkward. To try to solve a murder mystery back in Japan. So we haven't even seen Ryunosuke yet at this point because we are off in Japan with Susato. I did want to try to start earlier today, but it took me a little longer to get ready. I was tired. It happens. It's also really hot today, so there's kind of that issue too. So I have the window wide open, but because it's hot, there are also the neighbors' kids are out in their pool and they scream, so I'm very sorry if that gets picked up. Sorry. Cannot be helped. Quality of life and not like dying from the heat is a little more important right now, so hopefully it'll be fine. I think we're okay. I think I have like the filters set at a good level now that we've done our sound checks and everything past 2 days, so that we should be okay. I hope. Anyway, before we dive back in with Susato-san, we have some episodes to read. So we're going to... Nope, that's not what I'm looking for. What am I looking for? Hold on. Special? Escapades. They're called escapades. I was calling them episodes because I couldn't remember the name. They're escapades. Right, so we'll do 1 or 2 of these depending on how long they take. Last time they were taking about 20 minutes each, so if they go extra long, maybe we'll just do 1, but if we can squeeze in 2, we'll try to squeeze in 2, and then we'll dive into the case. All right. In Sholmes' suite. This 4th escapade unfolds one morning on Baker Street when Iris has prepared breakfast for everyone as usual, but Ryunosuke awakes to find an envelope under his door containing a death threat. Who on earth could have put it there, and why? Mysteries abound already. Sorry, 1 second. Chat, BRB, there's somebody at my door. I'm sorry. 1 second. Tender and very cute. Weirds me out a little bit that my Twitch profile icon is also pink-haired, so, you know. Why did she say tender? I don't know. Is she gonna eat us? Concerns? So call you Sweet Potato. It's nice. That's a vote. You're gonna us. I think we're gonna die. Same initials. That's not cool. Yeah, why'd you gotta bring that up? There's lots of fragrant magic water. I mean soap. See you tonight. What? Did you guys see that in the mirror? Is there no formal job training? Did they just throw you into the fire and expect you to swim? Oh, wait, hold on. Throw you into the ocean and expect you to swim? Sorry, got my things mixed up there. Yes, what is it?
I believe we have found the man to whom the package was intended.
Look, you can swim in fire if you believe. I'm back. Sorry, chat. That was super awkward timing. Hey, Dio, how's it going? Yes, in fact, actually, I'm pretty sure that is the hair clip. They're like, yeah, we need you to come to the door and sign for something. And I'm like, oh, this is very awkward timing. But yeah, so it's safely here. I'm not gonna open it right now, but I will open it later after stream. Or maybe during our next break. We'll see. We shall see. All right, let's do this episode. You didn't specify a sig, but you're glad? Yeah, like I was looking at the address. I'm I'm pretty sure it's the clip. I will look at it. Okay. In Shelms' suite, death threat to Ryonosuke for some strange reason. Kind of want to turn on like my mini fan, but it makes a lot of noise and gets picked up by the mic. All right, 9th of March, 8:23 a.m. Shelms' suite.
Good morning, Iris. Good morning, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, morning, Susie. I'll get breakfast on the table for us all.
Mr. Sholmes. Morning. Come now, why the long face? Oh, sorry. The thing is, I just had a rather strange envelope posted under my door this morning. Hey, 21 Snacks, how's it going? Hope you're having a good weekend. Some rather strange things inside.
What strange things? Ooh, what was it, Runo? Do I catch the scent of mystery in the air?
Nothing so exciting, I'm afraid, Iris. It's just 5 orange pips. I can't imagine what it could possibly...
What?
Orange pips, Mr. Naruhodo? And 5 of them? What's the matter with you? That's a bit of an overreaction, isn't it?
An overreaction? Mr. Naruhodo, you don't understand. It's a warning, a notice of imminent danger to your life.
What? To my life? What is an orange pip? What's the meaning of all this, Mr. Sholmes? My dear fellow, why do you make such an enquiry of me? Because the name of the sender was written on the envelope and it was yours.
Oh! You're right, Runo. It says sent by Sholmes, envoy of hell.
Why are you threatening me? Herlock, please, I thought we were friends. So, my little ploy has been exposed. Well, so be it. Cast your mind back, if you will, Mr. Naruhodo, to the time of our dining last night. Oh, yes. Miss Susato cooked Japanese food for us. Pip is just an old word for seed, so orange seeds. Oh, that makes sense. What a weird thing to send to somebody. Indeed. In particular, you may recall the final norimaki sushi roll that I was about to savor. That is before you swooped in with your clacking chopsticks and filched it from under my nose. So he's mad that Ryonosuke took the futomaki that he wanted to eat. Okay, got it. All right. It's a vengeance thing. Okay. All right, chums. All right, you're not salty at all. Oh, I assumed because you'd left it that you didn't want it. I'd left it, my dear fellow, because I planned to enjoy it as my very last mouthful. Surely you must have noted my intent by the subtle dilation of my right pupil. Perhaps a clearer sign would be helpful next time. Just an idea. You owe this man a futomaki, Ryonosuke. That's a crime. Stealing the food of others is a serious crime. In summary, the post you received earlier is a notice of impending revenge. You should be quaking in your boots. Really? Because I went straight out into the garden and planted them. I'm hopeful we may grow some exotic fruit. Oh, Ryonosuke, you're such an innocent boy.
And there's no point sending a notice of impending revenge if the person you send it to doesn't know what it is. Well, I knew, of course, because I've read this book. The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. On sale now in all major London bookshops and receiving rave reviews.
Oh, yes, of course. It's finally been published, hasn't it? Here, it's selling very well. You've read that.
It is! 12 short stories in one volume. I've earned a lifetime spending money already.
He's got a lot of money now.
And it has further bolstered my name. In fact, only the other day, a Bohemian king sought to engage my services.
Really? That's extraordinary.
Of course, the gentleman persisted with some pretense about being a fishmonger for the duration.
Alright.
But only a fool would presume to be able to deceive my eyes with such a charade.
How did you know he was a king then?
Why, there is no mystery, my dear fellow. A distinct smell of fish accompanied the man's lowly apparel. And though he tried to hide it, the left side of his mustache quivered in quite a manifest manner. Oh, Mr. Sholmes, that's simply brilliant.
Is it though? Is it?
Having neatly resolved the case for the man, I was sent a quantity of fresh cod as a mark of his appreciation.
I think perhaps you shouldn't discount the possibility that he actually was a fishmonger. Maybe, just maybe.
Is that... Can anyone else smell burning?
Oh yeah, you're right. And look, smoke.
I think maybe... Fire! Fire! There's a fire, everyone!
Really? A fire?
Must all leave at once. Everyone out of the building.
Are we sure it's not... Shouldn't we just, like, put out the fire? Because it doesn't seem like it's really spread too far. Maybe it's just, like, small kitchen fire. You could just, you know, put it out. And, you know, there's a fireplace behind us, too. That is clearly lit. No, wait, I have to go back to my room first.
Are you deranged? If you're not asphyxiated by the smoke, the flames will burn you to death.
But my Daruma doll, I can't let my Daruma be burnt. It means so much. Ah, drat. Sorry, but I'm gonna make a dash for it upstairs.
Oh, Ryuno, you're so funny.
This is no time for jokes, Iris. Go, quickly, get out of here.
But there's no fire. Is there, Hurley?
Huh?
What a delight to see the ploy enacted in the flesh. I wouldn't have dared to dream I should be so lucky.
Miss Usato?
Indeed, indeed. Indeed it was a ploy. A devilment engineered by my puckish spirit.
It was all a trick? But why?
It is a simple experiment of the mind, Mr. Naruhodo. When his life is threatened, a fellow is compelled instinctively to protect that property to which he attaches matching importance.
Oh, now he knows your weakness is the Daruma doll. Ooh, he got you good.
And after your own life, Ryuno, the most important thing to you seems to be your Daruma doll.
Let's not dwell on that, shall we, Iris? So you knew all along, Mrs. Sato, that it was a trick?
Yes, of course. The very ploys described in this book. The Adventures of Sherlock Sholmes. On sale now in all major London bookshops and receiving rave reviews.
Not again.
I've used that device quite satisfactorily.
I tripped over the words. Hold on.
I've used that device quite satisfactorily in the past to solve a case. Oh yes, it was a great success, wasn't it? But then it became something of a habit, didn't it? You started yelling fire at every crime scene. In the end, people started paying no attention to you at all.
Yes, that's true. There was a time when I was known as the Shomes who cried wolf. Are you the reason why we have that rule about you can't just shout fire in public when there's no reason, because now that's a crime? Are you the reason why that is a crime? Was it you? I think there's a lesson to be learned in there somewhere. But sadly, my little ploy failed to yield results this time. Iris was utterly unmoved. What do you mean? Well, I was anticipating that Iris would immediately expose her secret hiding place. The location of the nest egg she must have cached somewhere in this room. Why are you after Iris's money, you weirdo?
Nest egg? You think Iris has some secret savings?
Why, naturally! The book is selling like hotcakes after all. It is a simple deduction indeed to conclude that the profits must be concealed here within these walls.
Oh, Mr. Shomes, are you in need of money? Ah, I bet I know what it is. It's that new microscope that's gone on sale, isn't it, Hurley?
What else? I have such a strong desire to own one, yet my purse is 1 pound too light. Why didn't you just ask her if you could borrow a pound? And as no offer of a loan has been forthcoming, I have been forced to resort to an alternative stratagem. Why don't you just ask like a normal person?
Sorry, Hurley, but I'm not falling for that. Not coming from the Shomes who cried wolf.
Ugh, how vexing. You really shouldn't be trying to steal a 10-year-old's savings, you know? Yeah, there's that too.
My book is full of little tricks like that, you see. The armory of the great detective.
Except that in this case, both the orange pips and the fake fire fell a little flat, didn't they? Oh, I have plenty more tricks up my sleeve. Take, for example, the case of the Boscombe Valley mystery. I'm already filled with dread just from the title. As a tale of extraordinary skill on the part of the great detective, the skill of tracking. Tracking? I arrived at the scene of the crime in the eponymous valley. There were footprints everywhere. But my eye was immediately drawn to one set in particular.
Oh, Mr. Shomes, your detective instincts are truly remarkable.
As you know, my dear madam, no detail, no matter how small, escapes the scrutiny of these eyes. So I tracked my quarry, following the trail of his footprints all the way to the man's place of residence. It led you directly to the culprit's house? Huh, what a triumph! You misunderstand. It led me directly to my own house, my dear fellow. What? Huh? For the footprints were, in the final analysis, those made by my own shoes. Okay.
Barely had left here for Boscombe Valley as soon as he received the telegram about the case, you see. And then he followed his own trail straight back here to Baker Street.
Now, Iris, please, you make it sound almost humdrum, but I assure you it is no easy feat. Tracking of this nature is a skill possessed only by the great Herlock Shomes. You're right. It really is extraordinary. Quite so. Extraordinary is the word, and let it be the last on the subject. Anyway, needless to say, I subsequently went on to solve the case with various other deductions. Yes, it's the various other deductions that I'm interested in. Ah, well, you shall have to read the book then. I'm sure Iris has penned it with her usual flourish.
Oh, absolutely. I put an ingenious spin on the great detective's exploits.
Must have been very ingenious to make this man sound even remotely credible as a detective.
Wait, is that... Does it smell like something's burning again?
We've had enough devilment for one day, Mr. Sholmes. Put your puckish spirit to bed. Also, there's a fireplace right behind us that is clearly lit, so, you know, it's gonna smell like burning regardless.
I assure you, this has nothing to do with me or my spirit.
What?
Oh no! The smoke is getting thicker!
You mean it's not a trick this time? There really is a...
Fire! Fire! There's a fire, everyone! Ah!
Mrs. Sato, where are you going?
Stand aside, Mr. Naruhodo!
Easy, Mr. Sholmes, what are you... You just break the window? But did we even check to see if the door was safe or not? Like, do the handle check? Whatever. Mr. Sholmes? Why'd he just chuck that bust of Napoleon on the floor? Okay. Oh, look at that! And amongst all the broken porcelain coins, sovereigns in fact, worth a whole pound each. Is that where you stash your money? Did Iris trick you?
Come, everyone, we must leave at once. Evacuate the building.
This was Iris's ploy, wasn't it?
You fell for it, Hurley. Hook, line, and sinker.
Ah. Wait, you mean Iris?
I certainly wouldn't have guessed that's where you'd hidden it.
Ew. And do you mean to say that this smoke was...
My own pocket spirit needs to come out and play sometimes too, you know.
What? Of course. I know what it is, Iris. It's that indoor herb garden set that went on sale last week, isn't it? And that's what you're after.
I want one so desperately, but I'm 4 pounds short. And even though you told me you didn't have any money to spare before, I knew you had a secret nest egg somewhere in this room.
Ha! You've outwitted me again! You really shouldn't let yourself be outwitted by a 10-year-old child, you know.
So thank you for the loan, Hurley. Oh, but wait.
What's the matter?
Where's Susie? She's disappeared.
Oh yeah, that's right. She ran off up the stairs before, didn't she?
Oh, what are you all still doing in here? We have to evacuate. It won't be long before the fire is...
We got played by a 10-year-old.
Ah! Sorry, Susie. Children will get up to mischief once in a while, you know? But it's all perfectly harmless.
Harmless, maybe, but oh so devious. And also, harm did befall that poor Napoleon bust.
Oh well, at least nobody was hurt.
Apart from Napoleon and my secret hoard. Now tell us, Mrs. Sato, what is it that you went so fleet-footedly to fetch?
Sorry? Oh, no, nothing. This is just... No, this is nothing. Susie, that's... That's your notebook detailing all of Reno's trials, isn't it? It's bulging at the seams.
Huh? Ah, a testament to the various people you've helped over the past months. Mrs. Sato,
Well, I am your judicial assistant after all. I would do anything to ensure the safety of these records, even risk my life if necessary. I mean, it's very important to me. It's like a diary of everything we've achieved together.
She had the most wholesome answer out of all of us. We still don't know where Iris's secret is, though. I'm getting all teary-eyed now. Yes, in stark contrast to a certain someone who would have fetched his Dynama doll, I must say. Look, I don't own a lot of shit, okay? Don't judge me. And by I mean Ryunosuke. I assume he doesn't own a whole lot. That's fun. Alright, let's do one more. At Naruhodo's legal consultancy. An escapade into Naruhodo's legal consultancy where Susato appears to be rather irritated because it seems Ryunosuke has been buying a little too much bric-a-brac and now the whole place is brimming with things they don't need. And his latest purchase has really rocked the boat with Iris and Susato. Oh boy. 5th of March, 2:40 p.m. Naruhodo's legal consultancy. Hello, I'm back.
Oh, hello, Mr. Naruhodo. Did you have a good outing? Hi, Bruno. Huh? What's the matter? Your eyes are as big as dinner plates.
Iris, I wasn't expecting to see you here.
I've just made some tea, Mr. Naruhodo. Would you like a cup?
A cup or two? Yes. Definitely.
All right, Bruno, what's going on? You're acting extremely strangely.
What? Me? No, not at all. I'm as normal can be. Normality itself, see?
Not again, Mr. Naruhodo. Sorry? Not what again? What do you mean, Susie? Whenever he goes out on his own lately, he always seems to come back with a peculiar new purchase.
Peculiar? Peculiar? What's peculiar about the things I bought?
You seem to think that anything British is a curio you simply must have. Keep buying items of bric-a-brac even though you don't know what they are. Well, there are rather a lot of bric-a-brac shops and pawnbrokeries and the like around here.
It's when I've been to Long Stronghearts to give my weekly report. I'm always so nervous beforehand. On the way home, I just find myself in those shops and... Yeah, alright, I can't deny it. I bought something!
You're right, you can't deny it, because your eyes are wider than ever. You really ought to put up a warning sign about them. They're bigger than some potholes around here.
Hard to resist things in the bric-a-brac shop. It's all so cheap. Mr. Sholmes has given me lots of useful advice about how to pick out the real bargains.
You must remember, Bruno, that Hurley likes to have fun with you. Take his advice with a big pinch of salt.
Well, that's true. That thing you told me was a pot stand wasn't a pot stand at all. That's you? You troll people with advice? I believe it. But I'd never even have guessed it was a collapsible top hat.
No, and I'd never have guessed that you could fill up this once empty room so quickly. Honestly, it's overflowing with things we don't need now. I mean, look at those scales. Not once have you weighed something on them.
Oh, the scales of justice. I know, but ever since I first stood at the defense's bench in court, I don't know why, but I've just really wanted my own little set of scales.
Let's see it then, Mr. Naruhodo. What have you come home with today?
Oh, it's, one of these.
What is it? It looks all dry and shriveled up in a ball. Really, Mr. Naruhodo? What is it?
It's a sea anemone.
An anemone?
Yeah, I mean, I know it doesn't look like it at the moment. It's all shriveled up, like you said.
Aren't sea anemones living creatures? The ones that dance about on the seabed?
Yeah, exactly! The ones that dance about on the seabed!
Oh, they sell sea anemones in bric-a-brac shops here in Britain.
I don't know whether they normally do or not, but I do know that I bought one today.
But why, Runo?
Is it for the aquarium so we have something in there? Well, yeah, for the aquarium, of course.
Aquarium? I don't know that word.
Well, according to the shopkeeper, keeping sea creatures in tanks was hugely popular here in London before.
Oh yeah, some people have some beautiful fish in seawater tanks, it's true. Having an aquarium became popular because the old glass tax was abolished. There it is again, rearing its ugly head, the subject of taxation.
It was a real craze for a while. Everyone in London had one.
For a while?
Yeah, it didn't last long. People's enthusiasm soon waned. It's just far too much work to be changing the seawater regularly in a city like London.
Never a truer word said, I'm sure.
Hold up. 1 second. You'd think people might have realized that from the start, really, wouldn't you? Whoa, trying to get rid of the green. There we go.
Anyway, this was long before I was born. So now everyone jokes that there's an unloved aquarium covered in dust in every attic in the capital.
And it's true, there's one in this attic too. I just wanted to use it. Clearly. When I told the man in the bric-a-brac shop about it, he had these words of wisdom. That's why this is an age of the sea anemone, and that made a lot of sense to me.
It made sense to you, did it? But Runo, this anemone is completely dried up.
You just need to soak it in water overnight and it'll be good as new. That's what the man said.
I'm not sure that it works the same way as dried wakame seaweed, Mr. Naruhodo.
Once I've saved some money, I'm gonna buy some prawns to keep this little fellow company.
Oh, how exciting! Your office will be teeming with life. Will it really?
Britain is a funny country, though. I mean, a sea anemone craze?
Well, they say people in glass houses about comments like that here, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't forget that there was a very curious rabbit craze in our own country not so very long ago.
A mortifying chapter that people will try to erase from the history books 100 years from now, I'm sure.
You know, there was another craze as well before the aquarium one. Have you heard of Wardian cases?
What? Wardy what? No, I've definitely never heard of them.
The hell does that mean? They were little glazed cases for growing plants indoors, I believe.
Oh, I see. For plant lovers to raise their favorite tropical plants. Okay, that makes sense.
That's right, like different types of ferns.
Ferns?
You mean those rather dull plants with lots of fronds for leaves? They're not dull at all. Ferns are lovely plants. I think people wanted to recreate the exotic foliage of the tropics in their own homes.
So they grew ferns. I mean, ferns, sea anemones. Londoners certainly have a knack for the obscure.
Well, thinking about it, my grandfather loved the moss on his bonsai. He looked after it better than the trees.
It seems the more obscure something is, the more it interests people.
Maybe. Anyway, the Wardian case craze didn't last very long. Now most of those little glass cases are just gathering dust, I think. But haven't I seen one in your room, Iris? Ooh, very observant of you, Susie. Yeah, that's right. Mine's certainly not gathering dust. I grow tropical herbs in it.
Smart. I'm not good with plants. I just looked up at my succulents. They're on a shelf so they can get some sunlight from the and be out of reach of the cats. And I'm like, did I remember to water you this week? Oh my god, I'm gonna have to check later. I'm sorry!
Well, Mr. Naruhodo? Really must ask you to stop all this frivolous buying of strange things.
Yeah, alright, sorry. It's just that, well, think about Mr. Sholmes' room. He has all sorts of peculiar trinkets lying around.
Oh, well, yes, that's true. And they seem to be growing in number. Recently, I've noted a blowpipe, a few beryl crystals set in a twisted piece of gold, a gold-rimmed pince-nez.
I spotted a small gramophone record in there the other day, so I slipped it onto the gramophone. But it was just a whispering voice saying, Norbury, and nothing more. What could it possibly be about?
Those are all mementos of cases that Hurley solved over the years.
Oh, that makes sense. Exactly, that's what I want to create in here. Just that sort of atmosphere, except the point is that Sholmes has those because they are legitimately things that he has done and accomplished and has real ties to, whereas you are just buying shit frivolously and spending money, and that's what the actual issue is here, Ryunosuke.
Ah, a room full of meaningful trinkets, each with their own unique history, you mean?
Yeah, that's it. I knew you'd understand, Mrs. Sato. Very different from what you're doing.
But, Mr. Naruhodo, none of the things you've brought for the room have any connection with any of our cases.
Oh, don't they?
Well, for example, take that splendid but rather weather-beaten top hat. That wasn't used as evidence in any of the cases we worked on, was it? Oh, so you have two top hats if you count the collapsible one as well?
No, the collapsible one is a pot stand, as far as I'm concerned anyway. But the other day when we were in court, they were everywhere, weren't they? Oh, top hats. He, okay. I see what he's doing. He's associating them with the cases and buying, that's why he's buying these specific weird things. Okay. But why the pot stand? Top hats, I mean.
Well, here in Britain, of course, they're the mark of a true gentleman, so that's hardly surprising. If a man isn't wearing a top hat when he ventures outdoors, he'll be looked down upon. Gosh, it has very strict rules, doesn't it? The English Gentleman's Code.
I've been wondering how I'd look in a top hat recently. After all, my university uniform is black as well, so I think it would be very in keeping.
Oh, what a good idea! Go on then, Runo, try it.
What the heck? Sorry, something's bothering me here. Like, why is there a green spot on the screen? Okay, whatever, good enough.
The lesson here, I suppose, is that the juxtaposition of student and gentleman is just so strange and wrong.
Well, I'd rather it didn't suit me anyway. I mean, these hats are ridiculous. I'd be willing to bet every foreigner who sees one of these for the first time thinks exactly the same thing. Why is that man wearing a chimney on his head?
People in glass houses, remember, Runo?
What do you mean?
Well, what about Japanese tonmage top knots? Those haircuts are the height of ridiculousness.
Ugh. True. Very true.
At least you can take a hat off. Once you have a chonmaga, it's chon your head for good. I'd be willing to bet every foreigner who sees a chonmaga for the first time thinks exactly the same thing. Why is that man wearing a cannon on his head? I suppose that's what it means to have different cultures, isn't it?
On the subject of hats, the one Mr. Sholmes always wears is really very strange, don't you think?
I beg your pardon, Mr. Naruhodo. What a thing to say. That hat is the very essence of Mr. Sholmes. Yes, without his deer stalker, the great detective would be unrecognizable.
It's called a deer stalker? That's a surprisingly swanky name. Swanky is a word. I don't know if that's the word that I would use, but it is a word.
It's the hat of a hunter, just like the flat cap. I made up my mind long ago to visit Regent Street and buy one for myself.
I'm not so sure it's going to fit over your hair.
Well, I think it's a perfect for a great detective who stalks his criminal quarry. What do you think is strange about it anyway?
Well, you've seen it. There's two brims, one at the front and one in the back. Why do you need two brims on a hat? Surely one on the front is enough, no?
One moment, please.
If you ask me, it's just Mr. Sholmes' madcap personality coming through. I bet it's so that he doesn't have to think about which way around to put it on or something like that.
Mr. Sholmes does not have a madcap personality. He always has a clear head.
I guess that's one way to put it.
Deerstalkers are made for hunters who had to hide in thickets when they were stalking their prey. The brim at the back was designed to stop the stalks of plants scratching the back of their necks.
Oh.
Oh, so that's the reason. Thank you, Iris, for educating us.
Mr. Sholmes doesn't spend a lot of time in thickets, though. Does he?
Well, no, that's true.
I'm telling you, it's just his impetuous personality. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. Firmly.
Ah, here you all are.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. Sholmes.
I've not long since made some tea, Mr. Sholmes. Would you like a cup?
I see I've come at a good time, Mrs. Sato. Thank you. Now, I have something I should like you all to see. I've designed myself a brand new Great Detective's hat. What the? There's a brim?
At the front and at the back. And at both sides. 4 brims in total.
Your observation is quite correct, my dear madam. I'm a busy man, you see. But with this hat, whichever way I put it on, I shall always have it pointing the correct way. It was because he is a fool and he cannot be bothered to figure out which way is the correct way to put on his hat.
Oh.
My previous hat, I could in an impetuous moment wear it erroneously with the brims on either side. That's impressively clumsy, I would say.
And I must regretfully say, I think your madcap theory was correct after all.
But really, Mr. Sholmes, with brims on all 4 sides like that, wouldn't it just be better to wear a top hat instead?
Oh yeah, and then however you put it on, you'd have a brim all around.
What? So true, so true! How could I have been so blinkered to this fact until now? Well, fortunately, I happen to have 2 top hats here. You just lift the pot off of it, you're welcome to try that one there. Indeed I shall, my good fellow. Much obliged.
dear Hurley, it looks terrible. More terrible than I could possibly have imagined. Oh, that's not good. Maybe it's because of your long face paired with a tall hat. It just doesn't work. Well, I think it's very nice, Mr. Sholmes, even if it will have the whole world in fits of laughter. I should never have meddled with it. Give me a deer stalker forevermore. And give me my Regulation University hat forevermore. I still hope that you'll graduate one day, Mr. Naruhodo. Don't give up. What a goofy turn of events. That was fun. That was very cute. Okay. That's all the escapades we will be doing for today. Now we shall prepare. Nope, that's not the right game. Select adventure. There we go. Load? Yeah, there we go. That's how we go. Okay. Before we continue, we're gonna go ahead and take a quick break, and then we're gonna dive right on in to pick up where we left off last week with the first case of the second game. So we'll do 3-minute break, let the ads play so they don't interrupt us for a whole hour, and then we get to go. All right, see you guys very, very soon.
Tender and very cute. Weirds me out a little bit that my Twitch profile icon is also pink-haired, so, you know. Why did she say tender? I don't know. Is she gonna eat us? Concerns? So call you Sweet Potato. It's nice. That's a food. You're gonna eat us. I think we're gonna die. Same initials. That's not cool. Yeah, don't. Why'd you gotta bring that up? There's lots of fragrant magic water. I mean soap. See you tonight. What? Did you guys see that in the mirror? Is there no formal job training? Did they just throw you into the fire and expect you to swim? No, wait, hold on. Throw you into the ocean and expect you to swim? Sorry, got my things mixed up there. Yes, what is it?
I believe we have found the man to whom the package was intended.
Look, you can swim in fire if you believe.
Come down and see it.
I can't see!
Oh no!
it just completely phased me out.
So fucked up.
I don't need this heartwarming moment. I need to fix this damn bike.
I need to fix this damn bike.
Could have been lying through my teeth this whole time. I mean, you could have. But listen, have you tried the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV that comes with a free trial all the way through the award-winning expansion, Heavensward? Have you? I think that would keep you busy. As a result, I brought this knife so I could shank this bitch next to me if he doesn't fucking give me back my coin. I know he took it. There was no one else there. Bro, what? Bro, what? Excuse me? Anyway, the fact remains, myself, Rude! Ah! I won't be able to spot a squat like this. What the heck's going on around here? Running for the hills! No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom.
have it, a stunning balloon hat.
Alrighty. Welcome back, everybody. Hey, I opened up the package and it was indeed the hair clip. Very cute. I love it. Thank you so much, Dio Maxwell. Much appreciated. He'll be wearing that with us to FunFest, and it's going to be great. Alright. So, let us continue with case 1 in Ace Attorney 2 Resolve. Let's go. 13th of August, 10:41 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants, Antechamber 3.
So sorry, Susato. Should have told you about the toxin. Hey.
You have a strong sense of responsibility, I know. That's why you decided to shoulder the burden alone.
No, that's not it at all. I was just scared of my failure coming to light, that's all. So I hope to retrieve the substance from the Englishwoman before anyone found out. Before the trial started, do you remember what you said, Susato? That you had no doubt in your mind about my innocence, that you'd stand by me to the last? I remember. And yet I didn't deserve your trust in me. I hid important details from you, Susato. I completely betrayed your faith in me. Hit me, Susato. I deserve it. No, in fact, throw me to the floor.
She's asking for a Susato takedown? Damn, they really are friends.
No, that's too good for me as well. Drag me through the city streets. I'm no better, you know. Oh. Even though in my heart I knew that you'd pulled the knife blade from Miss Brett's back. It was just a brief moment when I doubted you. Sato. Sorry. But I stood here and promised you that I'd stand by you and always be on your side. Betrayed your faith in me too. And as such, I failed you as a lawyer. Oh, no.
I think this situation has taught both of you a valuable lesson. Placing your unbridled faith in another is no easy task.
Yes, Father. The fact has certainly struck home. Which is why I can see more clearly now. So, Ray. Yes? You find it in your heart to forgive me. Aw. Oh, Susato. You know you'll always be a gallant, dashing lawyer in my eyes now. Oh, Ray. I was so scared, you know, when it happened. I didn't know what was going on. The Englishwoman was sitting at the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. I know it was you who stole the poison. Well now, whatever do you mean? And then a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet. Before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. It all happened right before my eyes. And you were the only people in the hut at the time. That's right, just Miss Brett and myself. There was no one else. I just don't understand how she could have possibly have been stabbed like that.
A great mystery indeed.
Still can't believe it happened. That's why I just couldn't bring myself to speak up. It'll be alright. Whatever had happened, and whatever really went on by the sea that day, I promise you that I'm going to prove everything you said you saw is true.
We're a good friend. Spoken like a true Mikotoba. Now, I think we should discuss what's coming up in the trial, don't you? We don't have much time. We must make sure we have our facts in order.
Yes, I expect the poison is going to come under close scrutiny in the upcoming proceedings. The police should hopefully have identified it on the blade by now. Trouble is, it's a completely new laboratory synthesized blend of alkaloids. The police won't have any way of testing for it. Oh, I see.
Yes, without this chemical reagent, it's impossible to detect the toxin.
Chemical reagent?
Sent a colleague of mine off with some earlier to deliver to police headquarters. I think perhaps you should have some as well, though, just in case. Chemical reagent, a special indicator solution for a new poison under development by my father's team. It's only been created in strict secrecy and exists only in my father's laboratory. What's the matter, Sasato? Suddenly very quiet.
It's this newspaper article. Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. I'm wondering how the information got out, given that it was a government secret. What was all the Englishwoman's doing? What? It was when the professor and Soseki-san were being interviewed at the laboratory. That so-called English lady swaned in and without any compunction said to Professor Mikotoba, "Oh, Professor, surely your guests would love to hear about your work on that substance there."
Put me in a very awkward position, to be frank. But Soseki-san's curiosity had been piqued, so I had little choice but to give him a cursory introduction.
So then, Soseki-san knew about the poison?
Yes, and it's highly likely that the reporter who was writing up the story about us would have caught a glimpse of the toxin too.
This... Many Memo-san.
I forgot but didn't forget that Soseki-san's here too. And that just makes this first case so good because he is very dramatic and very fun.
By the way...
Oh, hold on. I just watched the bitrate drop. Are we okay? Seems we're okay. It's okay on Twitch. I just saw it drop in OBS. Alright.
By the way, did that reporter join you all when you went to the beach? Oh. No, I don't remember the reporter being there.
You would be wrong because he took the photograph. Indeed, he shouldn't have been. I very much doubt anyone would have wanted him there.
Oh?
Known criminal had been given permission by the authorities to bathe by the seaside. Soseki-san pointed out that inviting a reporter might be problematic, so the man was sent back to his office. Yet he obviously didn't go
back. He secretly followed the party to the beach and took this very candid photograph. Then presumably he posted it anonymously to the police. Ah!
Yes, that must be what happened. Counsel? We just heard the news that the witness is now ready to testify. The trial is about to resume. Please proceed into the courtroom at once. Time to steel ourselves once again, then. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo?
Yes! Ray has put her faith in me now and told me everything. So I can't let her down. I have to prove that what she's telling the court is true. I have to prove what really happened that day.
13th of August, 11:30 a.m. Supreme Court of Judicature. Courtroom number 1. I hereby call this court to order as we reconvene to continue the trial of Rei Membami. Prosecutor Auchi, have you summoned the new witness? I hate this dude.
Alright, just that question, Your Excellency. I have some very very important news to share.
Oh?
What news? And why does he look so happy about it? During the recess with the collaboration of Professor Mikotoba's laboratory at Yume University, the police re-examined the knife that was used to end Miss Giselle Brett's life.
Excellent. I admire your rapid handling of the matter.
Oh, too kind, Your Excellency, too kind. I was merely carrying out your instructions, of course.
Had the reagent delivered to the police headquarters by rickshaw, so it would be there in good time. But judging by the man's swagger, I fear we might need to brace ourselves for the inevitable.
And, Council, what were the results?
Gotta get some laundry and dinner started? Alright, see you soon, Dio. Have a good time.
This dagger, which was so cruelly used to end the life of the victim, has no trace of poison anywhere along its blade. What? Are you sure about that? I would stake the reputation of the police on it.
I'm gonna make you eat those words. Armed with the reagent, the test is extremely simple. They couldn't have made a mistake. Murder weapon has been entered. Small knife from the scene of the crime that was found in the victim's back. No trace of poison was found on the blade.
In short, the accused's feeble excuse earlier.
Hold up. We gotta do our own examination. That's a lot of blood. Ah, yes, this must be the victim's blood.
Oh dear, blood is never a pretty sight, is it? I'm having to fight the urge to run it under a hot tap and get it clean.
You've always been fastidious about cleanliness, haven't you?
I think this is something else, Father.
I mean, nothing really else to look at here. Okay, let's look at the reagent.
The label appears to be written in a foreign language that I don't know.
It's German, so your knowledge of English is going to be of little help here, I'm afraid.
Couldn't you have just written medicine on it in Japanese? Then we'd all be able to read it.
German is the international language of medicine, my dear. But yes, I can certainly see the merit in labeling the bottle in Japanese. Though I'm not sure medicine would be entirely appropriate. Yeah, this isn't actually a medicine. Alright, well, not really much else I can do with either of these right now.
Has been utterly destroyed!
About her, excuse earlier.
Ah! Now the prosecution is ready to call the new witness.
Ah, the newspaper reporter who managed to capture a photograph of the crucial moment. Good. Very well, officer. Bring in the new witness.
No trace of poison on the knife. But if that's really the case, how could the toxin have entered the victim's body? Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court.
What if it's in the pen? But she still got stabbed is the thing. Dude's got ink all over his hand. But you're writing with a pencil? I'm confused.
writing many memo of the Shoyu News. I'm what people like to call a journo.
Maybe we'll do some adjustments on that voice. Sounds a little too Herlocky.
What's a journo, Father? Do you know?
Simply a contraction of journalist. I'm there when the news breaks, putting pen to paper to catch the scoop so they're in print the next morning. They don't call me the hero of the Herald for nothing. The nice guy of news.
Oh, so, it was you who took this photograph, was it?
Well, what have we here?
I'm sorry.
Oh, brace yourselves, people! Any memo senses a scoop in the offing. Female student up to foul play, defended by curiously handsome young lawyer in Supreme Court. The readers will lap this up. We'll set it above the fold at a 72-point and 5-leg format for the morning edition.
Huh?
Right then, let's start with your name.
Oh, it's Ryutaru Naruhodo.
Next, what made you want to become a lawyer?
I wanted to reform our country's legal system, I suppose.
Ryutaro has suddenly become very ambitious, I see.
I just borrowed Kazuma-sama's dream for a while. By the way, my name is Taketsuchi Aochi. That's Taketsuchi Aochi. The so-called dark horse of the Supreme Court. My objections strike fear into every defense lawyer's heart.
No, the readers won't buy that. Witness? Yes? What this court demands to know is whether or not you were responsible for the taking of this picture. It was delivered anonymously to the Imperial Police Bureau only yesterday. Yeah, I wouldn't be a journo if I didn't click quick when presented with a scoop like that, now would I? Sometimes the orders call out to me. Sometimes I have to chase them down, but either way, you've gotta be fast. Fast legs to run with and a fast hand to ride with. It's no good if you don't note it down, I always say. That's what I call my many-memoism.
Many-memoism?
Ah, yes, I remember your face. We met that day when you were interviewing myself and Soseki-san. Yes, right. That was me, Memo again. You were supposed to be going back to the Shoyu News office after our meeting. The scoop is, I didn't. Because that English woman's words had piqued my journalistic interest.
Miss Brett's words?
A criminal will have to do as she pleases just because she happens to be a British citizen? It's horse dung! This country's judiciary is rotten to the core. Supreme Court's rulings aren't worth the paper they're written on. The police are just imperial pawns.
Stay your tongue, young man! There are complex political issues at play.
Well, anyway, I quickly jotted down those words she said in my memo pad. Holy crap, this guy's gonna give me tongue twisters. Are you ready? I'll read it out. It's all here. Right, here it goes. I should like to go with everyone to see your country's coast. Serious criminal going on some junket? People need to know about this. That's why I decided to sneak after them. You get the woman's stories? Oh, I can hammer her in the press. Do you mean to say that you did indeed witness it firsthand? The grim scene portrayed in this photograph? Oh, yes! I saw it with my very own journal eyes. From start to finish, in the viewfinder of my trusty camera. Thank you, Memo-san. You will now give your formal testimony before the court. You will state exactly what it is that you witnessed of the events surrounding Miss Brett's death. The camera never lies.
The beach hut was made of shoddy old reed screens, so there were plenty of gaps I could see inside through. The English woman was sitting on a stool when the student girl came in and started arguing with her.
Okay, but here's the thing. Wasn't that shack put there so that people could change? So that's gross. Why are you trying to peep in there in the space that's designated for people to change clothing?
Seconds later, the girl pulled out a knife. Throwing the English woman to the floor, she stabbed her in the back. My smoldering journal spirit burst into flames. Quick as a flash, I whipped out my camera, ready to click. I pulled apart the rough weave of one of the screens and poked a lens through for the perfect shot.
Read screens, you say?
Right, you can see them clearly enough here in that great shot I snapped. The walls were just screens made of coarsely woven reeds.
Yes, it allows the breeze to pass through and bring some relief from the summer heat.
And it was a breeze for me to poke my camera through and see the whole thing hotting up.
Ignoring for the time being the appalling invasion of privacy involved, did you witness everything that happened from the moment the defendant entered the hut?
Yes, I saw it. I saw the whole thing from start to finish.
And you say that you took the photograph through a gap in one of the screens?
Luckily for me, they were pretty shoddily woven. I pulled the reeds apart and thrust the lens of my camera through the gap. Would I get away with it, or would I be seen? It was a gamble of a lifetime. Tenacity of purpose that's considered admirable in a journalist, I suppose. Run a risk a day, run a scoop the next. That's many memos in a nutshell.
At last, it would appear we have a genuine witness to this wicked crime. The evidence and testimony are extremely compelling. I believe we may be close to a verdict.
No! Wonderful news, Your Excellency! Wonderful!
Nevertheless, it cannot be denied that this testimony begs one very large question.
What question?
Exclusive news, a startling photograph, all the makings of an exceptional story for the reporter. Why then was the story never published?
Oh, that's right.
Seems clear to me that there are circumstances at play here that are yet to be understood.
Ha! More pathetic excuses!
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with your cross-examination.
Yes, Your Excellency.
There's more to this reporter than meets the eye. He's keeping something about this case very close to his chest. The camera never lies. Alright, beach hut was made of reeds, pressing everything. What made you want to see what was happening inside the beach hut in the first place?
Call it journal instinct. Can you think of a better reason?
Oh, I don't know. Perhaps because as well as being a proven criminal, the person inside was a young woman?
I see where you're going with this. Brace yourselves, people. He's printing the journal as a voyeur.
It's hardly slander, sir. You had a camera and you were taking pictures without the woman's knowledge.
Nope, you got it all wrong, little student boy.
Sorry?
In my mind, all that was inside that hut was a scoop, nothing more, nothing less. Scoops know no gender, man or woman, it's all news. That's not even metamemoism, it's basic journalism.
Only the courtroom was as indiscriminate.
Right, so if that's all buttoned up, can we move on?
Tell the court then, witness, what sight befell your eyes when you looked inside the hut.
Sight that vindicated my journal instinct, that's what.
When I pulled back the reeds, I could see it all as clear as day. He was sitting on a stool, student girl came in. We're gonna press it, but I want to look at something. Ugh. How? He shouldn't have been able to see from where he was. I think we definitely need to bring up the angle, because the angle is suspicious. She should have been blocking the view. Like, yeah, clearly he could see her sitting on the stool, but he shouldn't have been able to see anything else.
So, you actually saw Membami-san entering the hut?
Yep, and she was raging like my journal spirit.
And the argument you mentioned, what was that about exactly?
You stole it, I didn't steal it, that kind of thing.
Talking about the poison, I suppose.
Student girl walked right up to the English woman and really started laying into her. I mean, if she'd laid into her anymore, there would have been eggs. Man should have been an author. His descriptive talents are wasted on journalism. But the student's rantings fell on deaf ears, like a Japanese person listening to English for the first time.
You really ought to work on his similes first, though, to be honest.
Anyway, the point is, the woman with the dock was mightily angry.
And her temper finally got the better of her, it seems. Dear me.
Which was the climactic moment that I got on film. Hold on, okay, hold on. Yeah, he shouldn't have been able to see her come in. We'll get to that later. Let's finish pressing everything. All right, she pulled out a knife and threw her on the back.
You swear before this court that you actually saw the precise moment when the stabbing took place?
Ha! The precise moment? I didn't see just that. I saw the whole hellish scene play out, from start to finish.
I have here a simple plan of the beach hut. Perhaps you could use it to explain to the court exactly what you witnessed.
Right you are. It's all here in my minimum memo pad. When I first peered into the hut, I'm sure that it was the English woman. It was on this stool at the back of the hut here.
Yes, the accused's own testimony confirmed that. Just sat at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly. That's what I have noted down.
My turn to testify now. Try not to interrupt. Then the next moment, as I was watching, evil student girl entered the hut. After a while, the pair of them ended up in the middle of the hut, arguing furiously. The English woman went for the student, but the girl dodged out of the way. And in a flash, plunged the knife into her adversary's back as the two passed each other. Hold on. So the English, he's saying that Giselle attacked her first. Interesting. What you describe is a grim crime indeed. Never sugarcoat the truth. That's what many memoism says. Find the layout of the small beach hut where the victim was found. Okay.
By the way, Mini Memo-san,
I'm gonna look at this thing.
whilst you were watching that terrible scene unfold before your eyes through the gap in the screen, did it not occur to you to try to prevent the tragedy rather than capture it on film?
Journals have to be observers. We can't get involved. That's all raison d'etre.
So, you didn't converse with Miss Brett at all?
Obviously not. Observer always remains on the outside looking in.
And that's something to be proud of, is it?
Your Excellency, if I may. Yes, Professor? I think the witness's last expertly phrased statement could perhaps be added to his formal testimony.
Father, what are you...
I'll grant the defense's request. Memo-san, you will supplement your formal testimony with the aforementioned statement.
Well, nihilism in the foundation is the foundation of Memo-ism, but I'll gladly prove that my words aren't meaningless.
Okay, hold on. I don't... There we go. That's the last one we pressed, so we need to press the rest of them. Alright, he whipped out his camera, ready to click.
This court is fully aware of your desire to capture the incident on film, I'm sure. But why then did you choose to post the photograph anonymously to the police?
I'm afraid I don't understand a word that's coming out of your mouth.
I'm asking why, as a journalist, you decided not to make a story out of the incident?
Think of me as a sculptor who makes art out of the sordid private details of other people's lives. I never discuss my own personal life on principle. I mean, that's basic Memo-ism.
It's not something to boast about.
No doubt your burning desire to see the truth exposed and justice done was what motivated you.
That's it! That's brilliant! My desire to see something or other exposed?
There has to be a good reason why he didn't think to write an article about what he saw, though.
By your own admission, you were outside the hut. How then did you manage to take the photograph?
Ah, yes, that. I'm glad you asked.
Pulled apart the reeds.
But the two women inside didn't notice.
Ha! Obviously not. Yeah, and where would I be right now? In jail, that's where.
Which you'd think would make you reflect on what you were doing.
No, Jonah's job is to collect little snippets of life as unobtrusively as possible. Leave nothing but footprints. Take nothing but photos. Yes, that's spot on.
Did you just make that up?
Point is, the witness risked life and limb to obtain this photograph. And this photograph reveals the whole truth. There's nothing more to be said.
I think there's plenty more to be said, honestly, but, you know, we'll get there. Never once set foot in the hut, he says. But your pen says otherwise.
Really? You didn't set foot inside the hut at all? Are you quite sure about that?
I think you may have the wrong impression of me. We're talking about a murder scene here. My nerves were stretched to breaking point already.
Oh, I see. You were scared. Maybe I did have the wrong impression of you, yes?
It's all I could to do to stifle a scream and hold my hand steady enough to snap the shot.
You really should have summoned help before thinking of your camera.
Memo-ism and humanism don't always agree. Most of the time in those instances, Memo-ism comes out on top. As a sculptor story, sometimes I have to be cruel for my art. Yes, that's spot on.
Surely he's making all this up.
Claims to have spied the whole affair from start to finish. If true, his testimony is devastating.
But it does seem as though he's holding something back, doesn't it?
That's how you feel. I suggest you trust your instincts and press him on everything he said. As you've no doubt seen many times before in your role as judicial assistant.
Yes, I have. Seen witnesses like this pressed often. I know exactly what to do.
It seems like they're trying to lead me to say something about the last statement. But I really want to bring up the fact that, like, how could he have seen her come in while Giselle was sitting on the stool where the hole was, right? Like, that bothers me. I guess you could say that he heard it. Then he threw her. I don't know if I can prove it entirely. I guess we'll start with this. You never once set foot in the hut. Okay. But is this not your pen? I think we've already looked at it as much as we could. Okay. Well, let's go ahead and try it. Objection!
Many Memo-san, until now I've had a firm belief that newspapers are in the business of uncovering and publishing the truth.
Spot on there. Press doesn't lie, which is why I'm proud to wear the emblem of the Shoyu News on my arm. In a way, that's more many memoism.
Sadly, though, it seems the journalists who write for those newspapers don't always share the same passion for the truth.
What are you suggesting with those recriminatory words, Counsel?
Many Memo-san, do you recognize this fountain pen?
Ah!
This pen was found at the scene of Miss Brett's death. In fact, the murdered victim was gripping it in her hand as she died.
What are you?
If you look at the barrel of the pen, you'll notice that its owner's initials are engraved there. RM.
Yes, thank you for bringing that up, Counsel. The initials of the accused, Raymond Bami.
Is it a coincidence, I wonder, that your initials are also RM?
No!
Write in Many Memo. RM.
That's high-stung. Can't you see one of the central tenets of memory memoism is being a pencil user?
Then why is there ink all over your hand?
And yet, as the court will clearly be able to see, on your right hand, there's a very obvious blue ink stain.
It would appear that you must have rather carelessly left it somewhere recently. Your favorite fountain pen, that is.
I see yours, tongue.
Many Memo-san, is it not the case that before she died, you met with Giselle Brett in that beach hut?
Why should we listen to this absurd nonsense? It's nothing but another excuse. Exactly. Shoyu News will stand behind me all the way. I deny everything. There must be as many people with the initials RM as there are stars in the night sky.
The defense has neither the time nor the inclination to count every star in the sky.
Hmm?
And there's no need anyway, because this pen has more to tell. Yes, there is another clue. A clue that undeniably proves who its owner really is.
In that case, counsel, the defense will now show the court where the alleged clue lies. The Shoyu News symbol, obviously.
Of course, Your Excellency. The clue on this fountain pen that clearly reveals its owner's identity is...
right there.
some sort of emblem here, look. But isn't it? It isn't a Unime. Yeah, I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. I meant to present, not like go over this again. It does not belong to Ray. There we go. As well as the initials, there's also an emblem on this fountain pen. An emblem... and an emblem that you will, of course, recognize, Many Memo-san. Seeing as you're showing it off for everybody right now.
Goodness me, it's the emblem of the Shoyu News.
In other words, the owner of this pen is an employee of the Shoyu News, whose initials are RM. Suddenly, the stars in the night sky don't seem to be so numerous, do they? Well, Many Memo-san, how do you respond?
No! Order, order! Explain yourself, witness.
So, that's how the mighty Supreme Court works, is it? Using coercive tactics to have well-meaning citizens reveal harmless secrets.
I've used nothing but honest tactics.
Alright then, fine. I won't try to hide it anymore. Yes, not long before that grim tragedy unfolded, I, show you news reporter on behalf of the public, conducted an interview with the Englishwoman.
An interview?
You never mentioned this before!
When exactly was this?
As I said, it was before that evil little student girl showed her face in the hut. Couldn't have lasted more than 2 or 3 minutes. That's all. It's just a brief exchange. But it came to nothing, and as we many will say, people don't pay their dues for unworthy news.
However insignificant you deem it to be, this court cannot overlook the meeting between you yourself and the victim. You will testify now under oath about the precise nature of this meeting and what transpired.
Got it, yes, all right, but... one condition.
Condition?
All good conscience, I couldn't speak out alone about this. You need to call back the earlier witness, Saseki Natsume-san.
Saseki-san?
Oh yes, according to my notes here, that man has a secret of his own, and brace yourselves. It's not a harmless one, it's big.
What?
What are you trying to accuse Saseki-san of now? Leave that poor man alone.
Benny Memoism states that one man's secret is every other man's front page story.
Very well, I will grant the witness's request in this instance. Officer, summon the earlier witness back to the stand.
Saseki-san, hiding something?
What could that boy ever do? I know! Be nice to Saseki-san. He doesn't deserve this. Oh my god, poor dude. The witness's secrets. He looks so nervous. He's like, please help me, somebody.
I asked the English woman for an interview, but she declined, so I left the hut without making a fuss. Then, watching secretly from the outside, I saw the woman being stabbed and the other witnesses come running. The detectives realized the victim still had a pulse, so he ran off to fetch help. That's when this writer man here asked the woman a very significant question. But he didn't say anything about that in his testimony, which is why many Memoism demands I reveal it now.
You mean to say the victim?
The victim regained consciousness?
Well,
And when she did, you decided to ask her a question?
that's, true, yes.
He did, and that's not all. The woman gave him a very definite answer. An answer that incriminates the accused.
Oh my god,
Saseki, why could you keep this from me?
very important information.
This is preposterous! Why am I only hearing about this now? Why didn't you mention this before, you Yoko hack?
Rude! It wasn't even a conversation! Yes, I did pose the Withering English Rose a question. I don't deny it. But she can no longer speak. She's barely conscious, even. Counsel for the defense, I expect a thorough cross-examination to be conducted here. This court must and will know the truth.
Absolutely, Your Excellency. This reporter is claiming that Miss Brett implicated Ray somehow? What on earth could have happened in that hut?
right, so we asked for an interview, but got declined.
You asked her for an interview, you say?
Well, of course I did. I wanted to ask her about the incident she was involved in at the end of last year.
About the case in which Dr. John H. Wilson lost his life?
That's not the way I phrased it. Minimalism calls for straight talking. Why did you murder Dr. Wilson? Is how I put it to her.
Yes, that sort of talking is as straight as a ruler.
Ask every question as if you're asking for a menu in a restaurant, I say. It's the best way. Veteran of the paper taught me that.
And how did Miss Brett answer?
One simple phrase. Mystery is a woman's charm. Phew, that told me. So I waltzed right out of there.
Really? Something about that doesn't quite seem to fit together.
Leave every room as if you're waltzing in a dance hall, I say. It's the best way. Veteran of the paper taught me that. Then watching from the outside, he saw him get stabbed.
That was very persistent of you, considering that Miss Brett had just turned you away.
Persistence wins the prize! Any minimalist will tell you that. Let them think that you left, and then just when they lower their gun, that's when you swoop in for the scoop. And the fruits of your labor are all too apparent in this telling photograph. Oh, I'm sure the young yokel student would rather not be reminded of this damning evidence.
Actually, it's thanks to that photograph that we managed to identify this witness.
And now that you found me, I'll tell you whatever you want to know. I've got nothing to hide.
I'm sure.
Please, do go on ahead, witness. This court is eager to hear what you have to say. Trying to stop me. There's a story to tell here, and I'm gonna tell it. Alright, detective realized she had a pulse and then ran to fetch help.
And so Seki-san remained behind in the hut?
That's right, yep. Our author friend here was a blabbering wreck, shaking all over from his head to his toes. Mustache twitching, eyes bulging.
What do you expect? You don't know the terrifying troubles that taunted me whilst traveling abroad. Back, behind, baleful boss! They'll be coming for me, surely. It's all I could think. Felt as though I were gasping for air, drowning in a sea of cold sweat.
Poor Soseki-san. His experiences in London have scarred him deeply.
In fairness, it was pretty bad. He got stuck in a room with no windows, poor ventilation. Pretty awful. Not the best life there, no. As the world seemed to close in around me, I quietly recited a prayer to Amida Buddha. Eternal emptiness, empty eternity. The end is coming for me, surely. No sutras are to resound in my courtroom, please.
And now we come to the crucial part. That's when it happened. He asked her a question.
What question? What exactly did he say?
Well, now you shouldn't hear that phrase in the. You should hear that phrase in the. Sorry, hold on. Well, now you should hear that from the horse's mouth, I think. Don't you, Mr. Brighterman? Out with it, you yokel hack! What did you say to her? What did you say to the dying English woman?
Well, truth. I'd been catching crabs at the water's edge and building castles in the sand, you see. Well, the seaside is a place to be at leisure, I suppose, even for a grown man. Look, don't question his hobbies. He's just trying to live his life, okay? But then, all of a sudden, from that little beach hut, a young girl's panic-stricken cries for help pierced the air!
Ray,
I ran up to the beach to see what was happening, to find the defendant leaning over the collapsed victim. As soon as Inspector Ozonaga saw him spread on the ground, he sprinted off to get help. And then, just a moment later, I heard a faint moan. A moan from the dead English woman. I nearly jumped out of my skin!
But what did you ask her, Soseki-san?
I asked her, who did this to you? Don't protract this any longer. How did the woman respond? He is very dramatic. She didn't! She said nothing in response. But... But in the stand, you will answer the questions asked of you unambiguously. Now, without evasion or reticence, I demand that you amend your testimony. I will! Oh, Soseki-san. He asked her who did it, but she never replied.
So you tried to find out who the culprit was?
He who asks a question is a fool for a minute. He who does not remains a fool forever. And having been labeled a criminal twice during my time in Great Britain, I was quick to make up my mind. Better to be a fool for a minute than remain a fool in prison forever!
However, you've indicated that the victim failed to respond, is that correct?
I know why. I know why the Englishwoman said nothing. She was ignoring me! Because of my stoop and my mustache! Because I'm Japanese!
Oh dear. Soseki-san has really developed a dislike for the English, it seems.
Having read the report of his time in Great Britain, I can't say I'm surprised at his xenophobia.
The Englishwoman didn't ignore you at all. Did she, Mr. Rider-Man?
Well, yes, all right. She did respond in a manner of speaking, I suppose. Soseki-san, please. She lifted a trembling finger and pointed in the direction of the defendant.
Miss Brett pointed a finger at the defendant? Soseki-san, is that really true?
It's not easy to stand here and say this, but when we first entered the beach hut, the Englishwoman was sprawled on the floor before us, with a student girl standing on the far side of her. And when I asked, who did this to you? The Englishwoman summoned her last ounce of strength to point a trembling finger at the back of the hut. Okay, but here's the thing. The back of the hut is also where the gap was, so that is also where the reporter was. This very suspicious reporter. Which was, it can't be denied, in the direction of the student girl who stands accused today.
No.
Soseki-san, why on earth did you neglect to mention this in your original testimony? But, fiddlesticks, I say! This is not a British court of law. You will respond in Japanese. Yes, of course. The Englishwoman did point her finger toward the back of the hut, but when I was trembling and she was trembling and everything was a blur. And thinking about it, I feel as though perhaps she was pointing in a slightly different direction. Actually, no, not slightly. In a very different direction to where the student girl was standing. To somewhere at the back of the hut where nobody was standing at all.
Mean that your memory of events and the direction in which the victim was pointing are both unclear?
Yes, that's it! Unclear! I'm very, very unclear.
Excellency, surely this proves the matter beyond all reasonable doubt. Yes, the woman may barely have been conscious, and yes, perhaps her finger wavered slightly. But there can be no doubt that this was an attempt by the victim to confirm the identity of her assailant. Why? Because as the court can see, there was no one other than the accused in the direction the victim was pointing.
Wanna bet?
It's now abundantly clear that no one besides the accused could have possibly committed this crime.
I am inclined to agree. And in the absence of any credible argument to the contrary, I believe we can now conclude this trial. No! No!
No! No!
Headlines writing itself.
Dashing Lawyers Helps Dash. 92 points across the world page. We'll do an extra edition.
A serious blow, Susato. Unless we're able to identify the true culprit and substantiate our claim with evidence, the judge will give his ruling, and the trial will be over.
But that's impossible, Father. We don't even know how the crime was committed yet.
Possible though the task may seem, we have no choice. We must think back over everything we've learned thus far. Somewhere in all those details, I'm confident we'll find the clue we need.
Ray gives her account of how events unfolded in the defendant's antechamber before the trial resumed. She told us what happened at the precise moment Miss Brett was killed. Englishwoman was sitting in the back of the hut, listening to what I was saying. And then, a moment later, she suddenly got to her feet, before collapsing on the floor in front of me, with a knife in her back. How could Miss Brett have been stabbed in the back in a beach hut that was empty, but for herself and Ray? Somewhere amid all the information we've gathered so far, there must be an answer to that question.
I take it then that the defense has nothing further to add? No, I do.
So, the gallant yokel student's luck finally runs out. Can't say I'm surprised.
Let me just make sure that I can't look at anything else. I don't know for sure if the police tested this correctly, and it's not letting me do anything with it, so oh well. I guess we'll see what happens. In that case, I am ready to deliver my final verdict on the matter.
This is a crucial turning point now. If I can't establish what really happened, it's over. Where was the real culprit hiding? And how did he or she stab the victim? I know.
Objection!
Your Excellency, I respectfully ask you to postpone adjudication for the time being.
Oh, to what end, counsel?
The defense would like to present the court with an alternative theory. An alternative theory that can explain who the victim was actually trying to implicate with her dying gesture.
An alternative theory? Ha! None exists.
There was someone else present at the scene who could have committed this crime.
What?
And the victim, Miss Brett, tried to reveal who it was to those around her at the time by mustering all her remaining strength and pointing a trembling finger in the killer's direction.
This is fiction! Fantasy!
Very well, as you seem so sure of yourself, counsel, I'm prepared to hear your alternative theory. So, young Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Yes, Your Excellency.
You will present your latest theory to the court by means of this plan. At the moment the victim was stabbed, where exactly are you proposing that the culprit was concealed?
Right outside the hut behind the stool. Naruhodo-san would never give up, and I'm a Naruhodo now. The true culprit who fatally stabbed Miss Brett was concealed in this location here.
Are you mad, counsel? You're suggesting the culprit was outside the hut?
What?
Order! But student lawyer Naruhodo-san Esquire! That makes no sense at all!
You've just pointed out the exact spot where I was hiding to get my scoop snap! But I didn't see any suspicious individuals loitering about, I can swear to that!
Obviously, if the culprit had been outside the hut, there's no way that he or she could have stabbed the victim who was inside the hut.
Oh yeah, they could have, actually.
Actually, Prosecutor Ouchie, there is a way.
Ah!
And, in point of fact, the defense can provide evidence strongly suggesting this is precisely the way Miss Brett was killed.
You're bluffing. You're bluffing, you yokel.
Defense's assertion is clearly too fantastical for the court to comprehend. You will need to give us more guidance, counsel. What piece of evidence corroborates your theory that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut?
Hold up.
Save. It's been a bit. Well, this one shows the big old gap right there. Or this one, because, I mean, if you can fit a lens in there, you can fit the knife. It's one of the photos. Let's try this one first. The original photographic print of the crime scene?
Yes, it's clearly visible in this print. The trace of the fatal thrust that was delivered from outside the beach hut.
Do you take us for fools? There's no hint of any such thing.
I'm not sure that everyone present would agree. Someone, at least, appears to have noticed what it is that I'm referring to.
Counsel, once again, I must call on you to be explicit for the court. Where on this photograph is the trace of the stabbing, which you claim took place from outside the hut? Look at that big old gap right there. Isn't that weird? That's pretty weird.
Look closely just here. In the screen at the back of the hut, you can see the effects of a blade having been forced through the reeds.
No, I can't. I can't see any such thing.
It's true that the hut in question had 4 walls as you'd expect. However, by parting the reeds as a knife blade could easily penetrate them.
This is extraordinary.
Yes. The true culprit actually stabbed the victim from outside the beach hut. And of everyone present at the scene, there's only one person who could have done that. Only one person who was directly outside the hut when Miss Brett was killed. Right in many Memo-san, it could only have been you.
No! This preposterous idea leaves me almost speechless. Just look at the photographs again.
We're like really close to needing to run an ad break, so we'll go a little bit longer before we pause.
The victim lies almost exactly in the center of the beach hut, does she not? Are we to assume as a part of this partial scenario that the assailant was a knife thrower?
No, of course not.
We're not.
Recall the testimony of the defendant about the events just before the victim's death. Inside the beach hut, I confronted Miss Brett. But she just sat on a stool at the back of the hut, smiling sweetly at me as if she knew she was untouchable.
A stool?
Have another look at the photograph. The slit in the read screen would align perfectly with the back of a person who was sitting on that stool.
My word! So, in fact, the victim was
killed while sitting on that stool by a stab wound to her back delivered through the read screen.
Ooh, we're getting into it now. Okay. It's a good place to pause really quick. We're gonna let the ads play so it does not interrupt us for another hour, and then we will be right back. Think on that, chat. Be right back.
Tender and very cute.
Weirds me out a little bit that my Twitch profile icon is also pink-haired, so, you know. Why did she say tender? I don't know. Is she gonna eat us? Concerns?
So call you Sweet Potato. It's nice.
That's a food. You're gonna eat us. I think we're gonna die. Same initials. That's not cool. Yeah, why'd you gotta bring that up? There's lots of fragrant magic water. I mean soap. See you tonight. What? Did you guys see that in the mirror? Is there no formal job training? Did they just throw you into the fire and expect you to swim? Oh, wait, hold on. Throw you into the ocean and expect you to swim? Sorry, got my things mixed up there. Yes, what is it?
I believe we have found the man to whom the package was intended.
Look, you can swim in fire if you believe.
Come down and see it.
I can't see!
Oh no!
it just completely phased me out.
Fucked up. Oh, fucked up.
I don't need this heartwarming moment. I need to fix this damn bike.
I need to fix this damn bike.
Huh? Could have been lying through my teeth this whole time. I mean, you could have. But listen. Have you tried the critically acclaimed MMORPG Final Fantasy XIV that comes with a free trial all the way through the award-winning expansion, Heavensward? Have you? I think that would keep you busy. As a result, I brought this knife so I could shank this bitch next to me if he doesn't fucking give me back my coin. I know he took it. There was no one else there. Bro, what? Bro, what? Excuse me? Anyway, the fact remains, myself, Rude! Ah! I won't be able to spot a squat like this.
What the heck's going on around here? Running for the hills!
No pets or other animals allowed in the courtroom.
And balloon!
Alright, chat. We're back. We're back. Sorry, I totally forgot to, like, mute the game, during that, so it was probably playing over the clips. My bad. Anyway, so, we're getting into it now. We're figuring it all out. We're breaking it down that it was most likely this reporter here. I don't think we read their profiles yet either. Victim in the case, who was a former British exchange student 9 months ago, she was found guilty of murdering a visiting professor, Dr. John Wilson. The assistant to my father in the laboratory at the Imperial Yume University. She's my best friend and considers herself very much indebted to the late Dr. John Wilson. Lead prosecutor of this case, who appears to be struggling to accept changes afoot as a result of these turbulent new times in Japan, the Meiji era. A chief inspector in the Imperial Police Bureau who was surreptitiously submerged in the sea in order to keep watch over Miss Brett, who was present at the time of her murder. A former visiting student to the British Empire who returned to Japan after a spell of bad luck with the law. He's now a successful author and a witness in the current case. Alright, and Raiten Merimomo, our prime suspect here, a journalist for the Shoyu News, who's currently following Sasaki-san everywhere, reporting on his every move. As a result, he's an eyewitness to the incident, and we're pretty sure he is the actual murderer. Look at that, he even has a pen in his ear in this photo, instead of a pencil. Alright. We're pretty sure it's him, and we're getting into the whys and hows and working it all out right now.
Ah! Having been attacked, Miss Brett rose to her feet instinctively. But then, unable to speak, she collapsed on the floor in the middle of the hut. Before the defendant, Membami-san's appalled eyes. And that, Your Excellency, is the truth of what happened on the beach that day.
It feels like there's another twist here that we don't have yet. Probably still has something to do with the poison.
By your silence, Memo-san, I take it that you don't deny the charge? This is absurd!
That will do! It would appear that we have a tacit admission of guilt from the witness. Accordingly, this court has successfully established the truth of this matter, which means that the defendant, Membami-san, is innocent of the crime.
Oh, thank
Goodness, that felt too easy. What's going on here?
I finally made him cave.
Must say, I've never been more proud.
Ow! This can't be! The Ouchie clan can't! What of my growth? My growth of hope! It wasn't all an apparition! I can't accept this! I won't!
I see no reason for the continuation of this trial. He hasn't broken down yet. There has to be more, right? I will therefore move to conclude proceedings by delivering my final verdict. And we gotta hold it.
Well, this is all very convenient. This is how the highest court in our mighty empire delivers justice, is it? Pressing well-meaning citizens' freedom to speak and branding them as criminals. But established that the victim was stabbed from outside the hut, through the reed screen walls.
No one but you was in place at the time to have his hand on the hilt of the blade. Perfectly logical deduction.
So, your argument hinges on the location of whoever stabbed the English woman, does it? Well, it seems a little irrelevant now.
Irrelevant?
Where she was stabbed, how she was stabbed. Doesn't matter. I mean, whether she was stabbed at all makes no difference if you think about it. After all, trial's already shown the whole thing hinges on something else. What?
What are you talking about? I'm so confused right now.
Brace yourself, little man. I'm talking about the fact that everything's changed. Because of the dirt you dug up.
What? Enough obscurity. Explain yourself, witness.
What's to explain? I'm talking about the poison, of course. Poison? Let's ask the professor for a moment on the situation, shall we? I understand that a deadly poison you were developing was stolen from your laboratory, correct? And it's been shown that the poison was administered to the victim, Miss Brett. Is that right?
That is correct. The unusual constriction of the victim's pupils are a sure sign that this particular poison was used.
I see, I see. So, presumably that means that the victim already had the poison in her body before she was stabbed. Ah!
Given that her pupils were clearly constricted, it seems highly likely, yes. If she had been dead already, poison could not have circulated in her blood. Are you trying to imply that that Membami poisoned Brett now? Is that what you're trying to get at? What could they be saying had the poison in it? The wine, maybe? Have we checked the wine? Or traces of poison? Oh no.
how refreshing to hear the argument of a metropolitan mind. Precisely, it matters not a jot who stabbed whom and whose back and with whose blade.
Except you were all about that just a little while ago, Aochi-san.
'Cause quite simply, the English woman's life was taken not by the knife, but by the poison.
Objection! But that can be explained by the poison being on the blade, as I already...
Except it wasn't.
Objection!
Forgotten already, have a yokel? During these very proceedings, the laboratory the professor at your side assisted in proving that the blade of the weapon used to attack the victim had no trace of poison on it whatsoever. So, let me get this down. The facts, as skillfully established by the defense in this trial, turn out to be a headline-making red herring. Is that about right?
Well...
Ah!
Order! 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 But where does this leave us? How, in that case, did the poison enter the victim's body? There's an undeniably obvious answer to that. The lady most likely imbibed it.
I mean, she drank it.
Have another look at the photograph here. As you can see, a bottle of carbonated water and a... That's clearly wine, right? And a glass had been knocked onto the sandy floor of the beach hut. Poison could have been slipped into either.
Somebody made Miss Brett drink it.
Well, what do you know? Look at those dashing eyes. This'll make a great front page shot. Hey, why the bewitching stare? After all, I'm the last person you should be looking at. It would make no sense at all that I poisoned the woman, would it? I mean, that's been established already.
Established? What are you talking about?
Don't tell me you've forgotten. That's a little hard to believe, given that the person who established it was you.
Me? What on earth does he mean?
Are you implying that because you stabbed her, you would have no reason to poison her? That's fucked up.
Oh, let me capture those wide eyes. This is the prime press fodder, this is.
It would seem this trial is not destined to end yet after all. I hereby call upon the witness to give further testimony.
That's great, that is. Let me get the shot of magnificent beard, Your Excellency.
You claim it to be impossible that you were the one responsible for administering the poison to the victim. You will explain to the court in your testimony the basis upon which you make such a claim.
I'm a journo, and I'm a man. I've never tried to run or hide from anything in my life. And I'm not about to start now, because that's many-memoism.
For a brief moment, I thought I'd eliminated the truth, but it slipped right back into obscurity again. So where is this trial going to take us?
Good question.
Complete innocence. Oh yes, I stabbed the Englishwoman, and it's the very fact that it's that very fact that proves I'm innocent.
Okay, but why did you stab her?
Because why would I have been bothered to stab the woman if I'd already poisoned her? When I heard the student girl and that pompous English murderer arguing, it got my goat. The courts weren't going to punish Brett for what she did. Someone else would have to see justice done.
So, you admitted then that everything happened as I described? That you are the one who stabbed Miss Brett in the back through the reed screen?
And then tried to frame our dear friend for it, which already means that you're a liar. You've just proven to us, to the entire court, that you lie and you cannot be trusted.
You can blame this miserable country of ours. Country that bows to the pressure of foreign powers and lets murderers walk free. What kind of future can a country like that have? That's why I did it. I did what our pathetic leaders didn't have the guts to do. Slap bang in the middle of the charming lady's back, I plunged the blade of sweet justice right in there.
You're awfully proud of the fact that you just tried to kill somebody. You do realize that's still attempted murder, right?
As someone who spends his life seeing that the truth is told, I feel really, really awful about giving false information in my testimony before. But as it turns out, there was somebody else who had it in for the victim and got to her before me. That's right, you guessed it. That pretty little student girl. Now there's a woman after my own heart.
You're implicating Ray again?
She's the one who gave the poison to the youngish woman and ended her pitiful existence. And suddenly, snap! This journal here is off the hook.
Except you still did attempted murder. The argument is sound, certainly. The witness had administered the poison himself. He need only have waited for it to take effect. Subsequently stabbing the victim in the back would have been entirely nonsensical. Except he was using it as a means and a way to frame somebody else for the murder. So actually, it's not that nonsensical at all. Because he was clearly in a good position to frame somebody else.
And therefore, this report had nothing to do with the poisoning. Yes, it's all quite logical.
How are you guys so dumb? And gullible?
That's right, it is logical and true. I'm glad you've all seen the light. Justice at last.
This is unbelievable. After I'd made so much progress in proving his guilt, is he going to get away with it now? Think of Kazuma-sama and Naruhodo-san. They never stopped looking for a way forward until the judge's final gavel.
Very well then, counsel. Proceed with what I assume to be your final cross-examination in this trial. Gosh, I hope so.
Yes, Your Excellency.
Complete innocence. Yep, he stabbed her. He totally did it.
So, you admit that you did have murderous intentions towards Miss Brett then?
Ha! That woman's very existence offended my sense of justice.
Your sense of... is claiming some sort of righteous indignation?
She was pure evil, a cold-blooded killer who committed murder right here on our Empire's soil. But did our good-for-nothing government do anything? Not a chance. No, I had to step in. Fly the flag of justice, put things right by the people. Yes, it was my civic duty. That's what drove me to do it.
So, in summary, murderous intentions then?
Whatever you want to call it, the point is this. That English woman was a blight. All I had to do was right for society. And a real wrong was done by the student girl in the dock. A crime for which she must pay.
Okay, but you don't see the problem with that he still tried to kill a person and get away with it. You don't see a problem with that at all.
Obviously, because the poisoning was nothing to do with me at all.
Why would you bother to set up to frame somebody? Obviously, but okay.
So, you still maintain that you didn't give the poison to the victim?
Obviously, that'd be like putting a belt on your trousers when you were already wearing braces like these.
The accused administered the poison, following which the witness stabbed the victim. An unforgivable act, certainly, but not one for murder. That crime rests on the accused's shoulders. That is how the law works, you see, yokel. Who knows, you may even learn something here today.
I dislike you. 2 consecutive attempts on her life in the space of minutes? Quite a day for the victim. Judge, I mean, you're not wrong, but also not the point.
Do something evil and you've got it coming. That's how the law works. The law of reckoning.
It's not the kind of law this court upholds.
You will reiterate why you were compelled to stab the victim, then, witness. She was pure evil. It got his goat.
What exactly were they arguing about?
About what happened in that restaurant 9 months ago. That's what... I thought they were arguing about the poison, because that's what you said earlier. Instead, a girl was laying an Englishwoman for killing her beloved mentor, Dr. Wilson. Yes, John H. Wilson. Professor of medicine, invited here from England by Professor Mikotoba, no less. Right, but the Englishwoman just jeered.
Her case was to be heard by the British Consular Court in Shanghai. However, there was little doubt that she would simply have been acquitted and sent back to her homeland a free woman.
It was eating that student girl up inside. You can see I really felt for her. No, wait. She's like, that's not I argued about at all. I was more pissed off that she stole the poison.
I can't. I can't stand here and listen to this tripe. Ray!
Young girl, you stand accused here. You can't just blurt out whatever you feel like.
No, you can't. Sorry, but I'm in the middle of some very important testimony here. Just keep quiet and listen.
But this awful man is making all of this up. Sasato, please, you have to make them listen.
Turn to the dock at once, Membami-san. We're in the middle of a cross-examination.
Your Excellency, please, I implore you. That journalist is clearly not a trustworthy witness. Exactly! He's a filthy, rotten, black-hearted, bigoted, dirty, great peeping Tom!
Whoa, take it easy there.
Please, I really think the court should hear what the defendant has to say.
Your Excellency, I see no need whatsoever to entertain the accused remarks.
I will grant the request of the defense.
Thank you.
But Your Excellency!
This is likely to be the final cross-examination of these proceedings. As such, I believe it would be ill-advised to stifle the defendant's obvious concerns. So, whilst recognizing that this contravenes regular protocol, I hereby call upon the defendant to speak.
Oh! Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
It was nothing to do with Dr. Wilson. We were discussing the stolen poison.
As we've been kind of stating this the entire time. I just want to point that out.
The stolen poison that killed the victim, you mean?
I suspected her being the one to steal it. I mean, just think about how she killed Dr. Wilson.
That's true. Additionally, Miss Brett certainly had knowledge of the new poison. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin being developed for the government. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult. That's true. I pestered Professor Mikotoba until he agreed to show me the poison when I visited his laboratory. But as I left, I was searched from top to tail. Miss Brett rather bluntly revealed the existence of the toxin when we'd been developing, you see. And since the Seki-san expressed such an interest in it, I felt unable to refuse. Obviously, I gave nothing away other than the fact that it was an extremely potent substance. I'm very ashamed of myself. It's just that if I've had a singularly terrible experience with a deadly poison. I wanted to look my old enemy in the eye! Surely you can understand that! Poor Soseki-san.
Find out if my suspicions were true, I confronted Miss Brett about the poison. I told her that if there were to be an incident involving it somehow, it wouldn't just be the university. The military would be dragged into it. The whole government, even. It would be a complete disaster.
How did Miss Brett respond to your concerns?
She just curled those beautiful lips of hers and said she didn't know the first thing about it. in English, actually.
Ah, yes. Many Memo-san, one small question, if you don't mind.
I do mind. Can't you see I'm busy?
Clearly, you were outside the beach hut listening in whilst the defendant and Miss Brett were conversing. Presumably then, it was you who wrote this article about what you'd heard? Exclusive, deadly poison stolen from Yume Medical Research Laboratory. The story was published in this morning's edition of Shoyu News. The details are too accurate for it to have been written by anyone else.
Sorry, don't know what you're talking about.
Yes, look at this. The entire article.
It's almost what I said to Miss Brett for word. Ah!
Well, Many Memo-san? Oh, we got him now. He can't lie about the contents. Okay, hold on. Can I check the pen again for traces of poison? Will you let me do that? I guess not. Maybe there's gotta be a time. I really want to use the chemical reagent. It's gotta let us do it eventually, right?
As a journo and as a citizen of a free country, I don't have to reveal my sources. That's a founding principle of many memoism.
Mother's clearly right about this. That reporter did write that article, and he based it on what he overheard from outside the hut.
Article about poison that was stolen from a laboratory at Yume University. The reporter, Many Memo-san, based it on information he gleaned by eavesdropping.
So that's what it was all about. You were trying to cover up the fact that you were listening in. That's why you came up with that stinking story about me arguing with her.
Shut up! My stories never stink! Look, whatever you say, little girl, it doesn't alter the facts. Your Excellency, there's something I want to say, and I wanted to go on record.
I'm gonna make sure you regret this, so this will be great. Very well, you may amend your formal testimony.
Ha! 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 Point is, if you'd poison someone, there'd be no reason to go and stab the person as well.
Actually, there is if you want to frame somebody else. Anyway. Perhaps you doubted the efficacy of the poison and sought to make sure your victim would die.
That's horse's dung.
What?
That'd be like pouring pepper on your Chinese ramen before you'd even tasted it. Completely reckless. Although, it might surprise you to learn that I'm a bit of an impetuous pepper pourer as it happens.
Once the victim had taken the poison, she would have been only minutes away from death. And yet, this man then proceeded to stab her in the back as well. There has to have been a good reason for that. It was the reporter who gave the poison to Miss Brett, then clearly. He must have done it prior to Ray entering the hut. Yes, that's undeniable. But between him leaving the hut and the victim being stabbed, was one very crucial change in the situation. Sorry? What change? The reporter overheard the conversation between Ray and the Englishwoman. Ah! Yes, that's it. Oh! That it would spark an incident with the government. Oh! And he was like, oh, fuck. I probably should not have used this. Whoopsies! That's when Many Memo-san first found out the exact nature of the poison he'd used. That could be the key here. The victim had unwittingly taken the poison already. The reporter would have had no reason to stab her. On the face of it, that logic sounds entirely reasonable. But there's no question that this man was responsible for Miss Brett's murder. We could think of a plausible explanation as to why he might have stabbed her even after the poisoning. Feel sure that everything would drop into place. That's what we should be looking for. Okay. Deadly poison being secretly developed in the university's forensic science lab was stolen. Small amount would prove fatal in minutes. Current methods cannot detect the newly developed poison. The university would have to be consulted. Apparently entirely new synthesis of alkaloids and rumored to have been commissioned by the military. He did it to get his headline? Death would have occurred within minutes. Okay, anyway, let's save. It's been a little bit.
Yes, I agree. And in order to do that, I must try to glean more information.
He stabbed her. Why would he bother to stab her if he'd already poisoned her? He said he's saying that twice. Gets his goat. They're discussing the stolen poison. If he'd poisoned someone, there'd be no reason to then go and stab the person as well. We gotta present something. It did actually allow him to create this very incriminating photo, which he anonymously submit to the police to try to frame Ray. And why would he send her this photo if he knew that he was the one who stabbed her? He created a scapegoat. All right, let's try that. Let's go for it. Objection! Nope, that was not it. That's, yeah. Like, I mean, I could explain how, but clearly you don't understand it, so we're just not gonna explain it. Yep, that hurt a little. Okay, perhaps I need to reconsider. Definitely gotta be something here. There'd be no reason to go and stab the person as well. Is it about your article? Because he wanted to write the article? Yep, it was because he wanted to write the article. Okay.
Well, I can think of one reason.
What? What?
But before I explain, I'd like you to confirm something for the court. Did you glean all the information for this newspaper article from what you overheard outside the hut?
Of course he did! There can be no question of that! After all, when we were all in the laboratory together, all we were told is that it was a terrible toxin.
And there's one more important fact to consider. According to the witness, Membami-san's verbal attack against the victim began as soon as she entered the hut. In other words, it would have been impossible for her to have slipped the poison into Miss Brett's drink.
Where are you going with this, counsel?
Memo-san has made it quite clear that he observed every single thing that happened in the beach hut. If the defendant had somehow found an opportunity, this man would have seen it.
Ah!
Which means that Miss Brett couldn't have imbibed the poison whilst the defendant was present. In fact, it must have been administered to her before Membami-san entered the hut. Ooh, and who was there before then? I wonder. Yes, very articulately put.
When I walked into the hut, I immediately started to press Miss Brett about the poison. At which point, Memo-san overheard some worrying information.
Worrying information? What worrying information?
The information which he subsequently included in his newspaper article. Namely, that the poison was being developed in strict secrecy and that it couldn't be readily obtained.
Absolutely. In fact, that's quite an understatement. The only possible place it could come from is my lab.
And furthermore, anyone inflicted by the poison would exhibit telltale signs in death. The extreme constriction of the pupils? Yes, it's quite stark when you see it. There were other poisons that show similar symptoms, but not among new substances that are undetectable. In other words, it would be clear that the victim's life had been ended by the use of this particular poison, which would reduce the number of suspects to only a handful of people.
Ah! Everyone in my lab is aware of the unique properties of the toxin we've been developing. None of them would be foolish enough to attempt to use it for some nefarious deed. And Bami-san being no exception.
Therefore, we can conclude that whoever administered this unique poison to the victim was a layperson unaware of its telltale properties.
In other words, someone like you, write in many memo.
Ah!
It was you who stole the poison from the laboratory that day. And it was you who administered it to the unwitting victim. But you quickly realized that was a terrible mistake.
Because the poison caused such unusual symptoms and was so traceable?
As you listened in from the far side of the beach hut's thin walls, you learnt of these facts. But you'd already given the victim the poison at that point. It was too late. So you hatched a plan to disguise your mistake. A plan that involved stabbing the victim in the back through the reed screen.
But what good could that possibly do?
Isn't it obvious, Counsel? The plan was to kill Miss Brett before the poison could take effect. Once in the blood, the poison causes the onset of pupil constriction. But he had hoped to precipitate the victim's death before that happened, hadn't he? Exactly. Because without any revealing signs of the new secret poison's use, no one would have ever suspected. This is extraordinary! Yes, the effects of the poison meant it would be too easily identified, so the killer had to mask its use. Which he attempted to do by plunging a knife into the middle of the victim's back. Got you now! Order! 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 Sorry, pouring tea. 1 second. The argument presented is sound. The court is satisfied that it warrants consideration. Does the prosecution have a counter-argument it wishes to put forward?
Well, there are a number of... yes! I counter completely!
What? On what grounds? Prosecution's evasive response clearly shows that in much the same way as he nurtures the remnants of his top knot, he is clinging to lost hope.
Lost hope!
Who's saying hold it? It's him, of course. He isn't fully broken down yet. Oh, it's coming though.
You pathetic, useless, fallen samurai! Fallen? Who are you calling fallen? My burgeoning growth is on the rise!
I don't need a counter-argument. What are you talking about?
It should be blatantly obvious. I stole the poison, you say? Gave it to the victim, you say? Stabbed her, you say?
Lots of fine theories.
I don't need a counter-argument because you don't have an argument yourself. Where's your evidence? Yes, you make it all sound so plausible, don't you? But without evidence, it means nothing. Whereas I base my news on facts.
Facts? What do you mean? Explain yourself.
I mean, what the professor said earlier in this trial. It's all here, in my many memos, every word, every slip of the tongue, all noted. That's what the Show You News is famous for. It's the power of the printed word.
We still gotta prove how he administered the poison. Which I'm actually thinking might be from his pen. And I would really like to test his pen. But surely it would be no easy task to steal a highly secret toxin from being developed for the government. That's why he switched to pencils, probably. Indeed, all visitors to the laboratory are thoroughly searched when they leave. Even if a thief managed to avoid being seen by myself or a colleague, getting the poison out would be very difficult.
How's that then? Blown the story wide open?
See, I write in Memo, a mere reporter from the Show You News.
Couldn't possibly have stolen that poison from the professor's laboratory. Ah!
There can't be any question of it. He must have stolen the poison that day. He stole it and used it to kill. Can I please open this? Take off the pen's lid. Then unscrew it. Little reservoir that holds ink. Fill it through the nib. Something wrong? Doesn't actually appear to be any ink in there. Could be on the verge of running out. Gosh, I want to test this so badly.
And if that's the case, so you've identified the poison itself as the definitive evidence we need. Because whoever stole it from the laboratory that day is the true culprit here.
What's your point, you annoyingly handsome country bumpkin? He called us annoyingly handsome. Isn't that that's cute. That's cute.
My point is this. There's one way that you, Memo-san, have stolen the poison that day.
I've heard enough verbal conjecture now, thank you. What the court must be shown is evidence. What proof do you have that this witness stole the poison on the day in question? I really think it's the pen. I'm gonna go for it, even though we didn't get to test it. I didn't get to use it, but I want to try it.
The proof, Your Excellency, is this fountain pen.
Ah! Fountain pen? How can that possibly be relevant?
These magical pens somehow seem to have enough ink to write many thousands of kanji characters. I believe they arrived in our country for the first time some 15 years ago now.
I swear by a weasel hair calligraphy brush and nothing else. These newfangled pens are merely a fad.
Well, as a forward-thinking man of words, I love my fountain pen. Suck up a soup son. A sumptuous ink, and one's work is awash with words in the blink of an eye.
That's right. Fountain pens have a small reservoir in the barrel, into which ink is sucked up through the nib of the pen in order to write with later.
What does all this talking of sucking up ink have? Ah!
And just as it's possible to suck up ink into the reservoir, it's also possible to eject it through the nib again, of course.
My word! Can this really be?
Well, Memo-san.
When
you saw the deadly poison before your eyes in the laboratory that day, you used your fountain pen, your very lifeblood, to steal some of it, didn't you? By siphoning the poison up through the nib and into the pen's reservoir.
Ah!
More absurdity! That never happened!
True, we've heard that there were procedures in place to prevent thefts like this from the laboratory. But would anyone have thought to look inside a fountain pen of all places?
No, I'm a little ashamed to say that for fear of offending our guests, such a detailed search would not have been conducted. Well, this is quite startling, I must say.
Remind the court that this pen was found in the clutches of the victim when she died. In other words, it was dropped at the scene by Memo-san. So, the crucial question is, when exactly was the pen dropped?
Are you suggesting?
The natural conclusion is that in your haste to act whilst the victim was distracted for a moment, you dropped the pen after you emptied the poison from it into her glass.
There could be any number of alternative explanations. For example, the witness could have been using his pen to write down details of his conversation with the victim. And when shocked by one of her outrageous answers, the pen fell from his quivering hand.
No, that can't be. If it was, how do you explain why the pen was devoid of ink?
What?
As you can see for yourself if you examine the evidence, there would appear to be no ink present in the reservoir. But a newspaper reporter goes to interview someone with nothing in his pen. No,
The pen was dropped after the poison that filled its reservoir had been emptied into the victim's glass.
Yeah. Got him now, he's on the ropes. Witness, what do you have to say in your defense?
So, this is how our modern justice system works, does it? Oh, what if the ink in my pen runs dry? So what if my pencil snaps? I can always claw my way back into the game. I have plenty in reserve. Ah!
Oh, here comes the breakdown.
You just throw pencils at us? You claim I sucked up the poison in my pen? That's wild speculation, nothing more. You thought you could bring down a fine, upstanding citizen with a trick like that? Think again.
Looks as though it's going to take one final decisive blow to finish this matter. As I see it, the situation is now very simple. Rests upon whether or not this witness did indeed steal the poison on the day in question. And therefore, it all depends on whether or not the defense can prove that he did with evidence.
Can I please use this yet, or are you just gonna, like... Do I just have to present it to use it? Is that what we're gonna do? Like, okay. I can't actually open it and try using it. Ha! No such evidence could possibly exist! Animemo-san, this is how our modern justice system works. What? In the courtroom, evidence is everything. Something you would do well to remember. Because we are all well past the point of speculation at this stage, I assure you.
Very well then, I call upon the defense to present the aforementioned evidence.
This is it then. This will be the final piece in the puzzle. The defense can prove by means of this item that it was the witness's pen that was used to steal the poison. Hey look, I have this chemical reagent that I've been dying to use.
Counsel, what is that bottle?
This bottle contains the unique chemical reagent that can identify the poison in question. Ah!
Yes, that poison is an entirely new synthesis of alkaloids developed by my colleagues and I. It'd be impossible to detect traces of it by any other method.
Or, from another perspective, simply with this chemical reagent, anybody at all could check for traces of the poison.
A reagent? What?
One drop of the contents of this bottle on the tip of your fountain pen, Manimemo-san, is all it will take to solve this case beyond all reasonable doubt.
No, you can't. I won't.
Your crimes are bad enough, but at least know when to admit defeat. Your Excellency, the defense requests permission to carry out the test on the fountain pen at once.
Do it. Oh, here he goes! Oh my god, he's swinging the camera. It says it's my fault. The Empire tried me to do is trying to hold his civilized nation, take upon the support of my penny twice on the battlefield. All in the name of justice, unrighteousness, many memo!
Sasato, with me!
Oh my god, are we gonna double throw him? They really are best friends.
Did I do it right? That was a Sasato takedown, wasn't it?
Okay, hold on. We need to read this breakdown. He just went off.
This isn't my fault. The Empire drove me to do this. Trying to hold its head high as a civilized nation, but bowing its head to every foreign power's whim, I took up arms in the form of the mighty pen. I fought tirelessly on the battlefield of news, all in the name of justice and righteousness. Yes, many memoism is the paragon of justice. Many memo.
And then they threw him, and it was glorious, and I loved it.
Not quite. That was a Ryutaro takedown.
Beautiful. I love it.
The instant the first drop of the reagent touched the nib of the fountain pen, it was clear to everyone present.
Yeah, I shipped them. They're pretty cute. I saw it there in the lab. Poison. Devil got hold of me and decided to do it on a whim. I excused myself and emptied all the ink down the sink in the bathroom, washing the reservoir out carefully. And then you waited for an opportunity to suck up some of the poison, didn't you? Into your fountain pen. Yes, that's right. Answer me one thing, Merimemo-san. Why did you steal it? For what purpose? Isn't it obvious? Find out what it was made of and expose it in an article. I mean, was a secret project after all. Too juicy for a journal like me to pass up. And why did the English woman end up dead? I went into that hut intending to quiz her on the situation, that's all. It's a reporter. Known killer, enjoying full freedom, evading justice by leaving the country. I told her what I thought about it. And she just laughed in my face!
Oh, what's this? A Far Eastern caveman purporting to practice journalism? Really, you must learn the difference between reporting and listening at doorways, you ignorant plebeian.
What? What did you call me? Oh, she just insulted him and pissed him off.
This country, with its pretensions to a justice system, to a free press, it's really very depressing. You see our superior ways in the West, yet you lack the mental capacity to emulate them. Get out of here, you oaf. Get out and crawl back into the cave you came from.
That's when I remembered. About the deadly poison I happened to have in my pen at the time. A terrible tale. My head, I knew I should just get out of there as quickly as possible, but I couldn't. Couldn't let her get away with what she'd done. She clearly had no remorse at all. Suppose it was my journal spirit getting all fired up.
I'd like to ask you something.
Yes?
You often talk about justice. But surely as a journalist, you could have used other means to deliver the justice you sought.
There's no justice in the press.
Sorry?
After that trial 9 months ago, I kept digging and digging to find out what happened in the courtroom. Finally, I discovered the truth. It was a cover-up, that's what it was.
A cover-up? What do you mean?
I would remind you of your position, witness. Be careful of what you say. Oh, come on, doesn't it strike you as strange? We're suddenly not allowed to convict a foreign national? Consular jurisdiction should never have come into it at all. And yet that puffed-up Englishwoman was going to sail away into the sunset, a free woman. The only possible explanation is that behind the scenes, some deal had gone down between Britain and Japan.
What sort of deal?
I'd done my research, dug up all the dirt, and it was ready to all be published. Do you know what happened? The editor just tore the article up. Came under pressure from the government, you mean? Our government is going to let criminals walk free. They're gonna crush the free press. And what choice do I have but to see that justice is done myself?
Let's not forget, Merimemo-san. You committed murder yourself. You tried to lay the blame at the defendant's door. I'm sorry, but you're no better than Giselle Brett.
What?
The truth is, you have no right to talk about justice at all.
I suppose. Ooh, that was harsh. She really laid into him right there with those few words.
would appear that we have reached a conclusion in this trial at last. Counsel for the defense, Ryotaro Naruhodo.
Oh! Yes. Sorry, Your Excellency. Just musing in a manly way over here.
Almost unbelievable that this is your first experience with the Supreme Court. It was an excellent performance. In truth, it very much reminded me of your cousin's exploits.
Oh! Naruhodo, Ryunosuke, you mean?
The way he handled the trial 9 months ago and the way you handled this one. It gives me hope that we are genuinely entering a new era of justice in this land.
Very flattering, Your Excellency.
Hearing the defense you put forward today made me feel most keenly that the future of our justice system will be forged by you and your contemporaries.
Thank you.
So, Prosecutor Aochi, do you have any final thoughts? Are you about to commit seppuku? Because I don't like you, but also, that's a little too far, you know?
Prosecutor Aochi?
I, Taketsuchi of the Aochi clan, have been bested by a fellow youth not once now, but twice. There was any shred of my former self left, that's withered and died here today.
Gosh, your journey to cultural enlightenment sure took a while, didn't it?
Silence! Rather than living on in shame, I will end it all now with this blade. For that is the true path to Aochiism!
What are we doing here?
Aochiism?
In hopes that's the only way in which he'll be modeling himself after the witness. You gonna cut off the rest of your hair?
Bring up my top knot. The time is right for farewell.
Okay, he's just cutting off his hair. This is fine.
Hope is lost forever. Taketsuchi.
Oh, he did it! He cut off the last bit! Oh my god! Oh, goodbye, awkward little hairs. Okay, that's enough. We had to do the respectful moment of silence for the lost hair. Now, in regards to the defendant, Ray Membami-san.
Yes, Your Excellency?
I reached my final verdict. I hereby find you not guilty. Yay! F's in the chat for the top knot. Yep. Rest in peace, top knot. Or what remained of it. Court is adjourned. (13th of August, 2:38 p.m.) Supreme Court of Judicature. Defendants Antechamber 3.
My heart is still pounding in my chest, though. That's all I can do just to stay standing. Lawyers have such great responsibility, such a great burden to bear. Don't they, Naruhodo-san?
Susato! Thank you so much. You were so dashing in there.
Ray and Father.
Honestly, I'm so touched by everything you've... Oh no, I think I'm gonna cry.
It wasn't easy, but together we made it. I was on the verge of tears at the end, too. The only reason I'm still here is because of you.
Oh no, I can't take all the credit. It took courage to tell the truth in there. You did wonderfully, Ray. So I would have to say that the congratulations belong to you.
Susato, don't be so standoffish.
Sorry?
We're friends, equals, and the trial's over, so no more of this formal super humility nonsense.
It's time to celebrate with swagger, to throw caution to the wind. Caution to the... what?
I'm the great defense lawyer, Ryutaro Naruhodo, and I'm taking you out to a milk bar tomorrow. Or something.
Right. I see. I'll, think about it, Ray.
At any rate, we really knocked the wind out of that horrid man, and it felt so good.
Yes, it was satisfying.
It really was. Isn't there anybody else we could throw together?
Oh, she's talking about when we double through him, when we did the double takedown. That was pretty good. I really like that. You thinking about throwing Dad? You don't throw Dad. That's weird. I hope you're not looking at me, Ray.
Oh, my goodness, no! Of course not. Of course not!
Ah, there it is at last. Ray's lovely smile.
Fought for your friend to the very last. As your father, I'm extremely proud of you. Defense attorney Ryutaro Naruhodo.
Thank you, but I couldn't have done it without your help. Anyway, it's time to bid farewell to Ryutaro, I think. I shall miss him in a way, but it's back to Susato Mikotoba now. So, I'll never see him again then? What a terrible shame!
What? Who's going what? Oh, it's Hosonaga. What? It's happening!
Oh, Soseki-san and Inspector Hosonaga. I do hope you've been keeping well.
Is that really you?
Yes, I had to change my appearance for, well, obvious reasons, I hope, but it's me, Susato Mikotoba.
I don't. So dashing, so divine. No. Devilly dashing, yes, and devilishly divine. Just look at you. I had no idea, Mrs. Sato-san Esquires, that you were locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire's cousin. Astonishingly sounding ace attorney. He said the thing. He said the thing.
Poor Soseki-san, so confused.
I love him. He's so good.
I still remember the first time I ever met him. He was in a prison cell in London. What an extraordinary conundrum it was that the unwitting student from Japan found himself embroiled in. But soon after Naruhodo-san's skillful defense at the Old Bailey, Soseki-san was free to return to Japan. And now he seems to have earned himself great fame as an author.
I'm stunned. That's a truly impressive disguise. Even I had no idea, and I'm a chief inspector at the police bureau. Who came up with Mr. Turtle, no less? I'm not sure you should be admitting to that, Inspector. Amazing. You're a woman of many faces, I see.
Just two, really, and this was a once-in-a-lifetime event, I hope.
Oh, that means we're gonna see him again. It's fine.
I'm not a patch on you, though, Inspector.
Well, I am a professional, of course.
I do worry about Inspector Hosonaga sometimes. I really do. 9 months ago, when he appeared here at the Supreme Court to testify, he was undercover, disguised as the head waiter of a restaurant. And then on the steamship to Great Britain, of course, disguised as a sailor to keep us safe on the journey.
Stop it, ads.
No, that didn't help you, did it, Kazuma-sama?
My perspective, I have to admit I have mixed feelings about all this. I mean, now the truth has been lost forever. What do you mean? I'm talking about the murder that the Englishwoman committed at the end of last year. Ah, yes. It was an English doctor she killed, as I understand it. Dr. John H. Wilson, yes. The man I invited to Japan personally. The mystery is, why did she kill him? And now that the culprit herself is dead, we'll probably never know the answer.
On the voyage to Great Britain, we had a most unexpected encounter. With Mr. Herlock Sholmes, the great detective, I mean.
Yes, I remember Mr. Sholmes well, of course. Ah, my arch-nemesis. How lightly you utter his name.
Well, according to the stories published about him in The Adventures of Herlock Sholmes, the detective once had a partner who helped him solve crimes, a best friend. And that man was an exceptional doctor of medicine, by the name of John H. Wilson.
What? Dr. Wilson?
Just can't believe that it's a coincidence.
I think the English
doctor of medicine killed here in Japan 9 months ago must have been the friend and partner of Mr. Sholmes. And if that's really true, then the poor girl won't ever see her beloved father again.
As you know, I traveled to Great Britain once myself to study. It was around the time you were born.
Yes, grandmother told me about it.
On returning to Japan, I took up my professorship at the Imperial Yume University. But I also serve another role as an advisor to the government on diplomatic affairs.
Yes, I was aware of that as well.
In that case, I'm sure you understand. There are some confidential matters I cannot divulge to you. Okay?
Could you just tell me one thing? Why did you summon me back to Japan? It's been 2 months now since I returned. When I left England, it was because of an urgent telegram had arrived from Japan.
Does that mean he wasn't really sick?
It said that you'd collapsed with a high fever and you were growing weaker by the day.
What? Where did that news come from?
That's what I'd like to know. Because after that long sea voyage, I found you in fine health, Father. Is there something in Great Britain that you perceived might inconvenience me in some way? Or harm me? That's really the only explanation I can think of.
Dear me, do you reserve your most cutting glares for your father, Susato-san? Sorry, my dear, I simply can't...
Ah, let me go!
Oh, it's him.
Ha!
Memo-san!
So, one there wasn't enough for you. I got one last thing to say before they take me away. Professor!
Me?
I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on, and that visiting student's fate.
Visiting student? Zale Brett, you mean?
No, not her. The student of law who left for Great Britain 8 months ago. Wait, what?
What? Student of law? He must mean Kazuma-sama. What are you talking about? What does any of this have to do with Kazuma-sama?
Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on that steamship, and that he'll never... Ah!
Well, I didn't expect to find him in here. Did you just take him down? What were you officers playing at? Terribly sorry, Your Excellency.
What the fuck?
I was coming to tell you that the rickshaw has arrived, Eugene, and it's a good job I came by. Yes, thank you for dealing with him, and I'll be there shortly.
Oh, Your Excellency.
God damn it. Alright, this is the last time I can snooze the ad, so hopefully we don't get stuck. Trial's over. I'm not Your Excellency anymore. Merely your father's friend, Seishiro Jigoku. Jigoku means hell. Should I be concerned? May I say that since I saw you last, you seem to have taken on a more dashing appearance. Susato.
Whoopsies. Did you know all along? From the start of the trial?
George sees everything, Susato. I couldn't let you take the risk. Seishiro here hadn't known and then he'd recognized you. I had a word in his ear beforehand, as an old friend. So, Seishiro, shall we? Yes, having ruled on that case, we now have various diplomatic issues to address.
Where you go, father?
Sorry, my dear. We shall have to return to our earlier conversation at a later date. But well done again, both of you. You did admirably.
Oh, thank you very much.
What did you think of my Seishiro sling, eh? It's been a while since I sent a man flying like that. Seishiro sling, what, eh?
Never could father be hiding from me. About Giselle Brett, about Dr. Wilson, and now it seems, according to the reporter, about Kazuma-sama. I'm going to have to bring this up with father sometime, when nobody else is around.
Judicial Assistant Mikotoba-san, Esquires, could I have a word?
Oh, yes, of course, Saseki-san. What is it?
I think perhaps it could be fate that we're meeting again like this now. See, there's something I need to tell you.
Oh.
I believe that it may be related to the reason why your father summoned you back from England.
This I have to hear. Please, Saseki-san, tell me at once. I will!
As you know, my time in England was terrible. Cursed, I have no doubt. Such awful things I was embroiled in. Thank goodness locum student Naruhodo-san Esquire stepped in. After he secured my freedom, I couldn't wait to get on a ship back here to my homeland. Having arrived in Japan, I submitted a report about my experiences to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The next thing I knew, I had a visitor. It was your father, Professor Mikotoba. He wanted to ask me all sorts of things about my report.
My father?
He seemed to be especially taken with a particular part of the report. Anyway, he left eventually, having thoroughly quizzed me. But it was the very next day that he sent the telegram to you, asking you to return to Japan.
What was it then, that particular part my father was interested in?
I don't really know exactly. But do you remember them? Those two terrible cases I was caught up in?
Of course, I could never forget.
Your father seemed to concern himself mainly with the second case.
Second one? You mean the one Mr. Sholmes forbade any of us to talk about in public?
Which is why the only case
involving you that any member of the public is aware of is the first.
Hey, Neo Neko, welcome on in. Thank you so much for the raid. How was your Genshin Impact you were playing? How was it? We're doing Ace Attorney. We're almost done with the second case here, so we're actually going to end pretty soon, but, you know, we're just wrapping it up. There's some mystery going on. Hey, DJ, thanks so much for the dances and parties. Hope all is well. Excited for FanFest next week. That's a lot of dancing emotes you have. Holy crappers. That's a lot. Look at the party. That's super fun. There's so many. The party just don't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Nice. I like the B one. That's really cute. Wait, I think I've seen this one before. Hold on, which one is this? Oh crap, I accidentally scrolled. Anyway, the point is, it seems that case somehow holds the key to all these curious, unanswered questions. That horrific, hideous, heinous case. The case of the haunted lodgings. Case of the haunted Case of the haunted lodgings. Huh?
That
case somehow caused my father to summon me urgently back to Japan. You still need to do minigames. Oh, I clicked out of thing by accident. I thought that whole business was over, but it seems I was wrong. Yeah, the ad break gives warnings now, but I already used all the snoozes, so I cannot snooze it any longer. So I'm sorry, ad watchers, that you'll miss the very end here. I can't do anything about it anymore. Hold on, I'm trying to see what this says. You finished the story, the event quest, and you still need to do mini games. Yeah. Perhaps this was only the start. Perhaps the story is not yet told. It's okay, we're at the end. We're at the end. We're okay. Oh, cutscene.
So, the mystery of that English woman's death is solved, thank goodness. And having stood in the Supreme Court now, I think I can comprehend a little better. How you must be feeling as you fight for people's freedom in a foreign land, Naruhodo-san.
Should have just let it wait. Waited for the ads. I can't pause it now.
But actually, I'm writing to you today because of another matter. I met Soseki-san and we talked about that second case he was involved in. Father has said nothing to me, but I feel certain of it. That case holds the key to some great unsolved mystery. My notes on the case should still be in the office, tucked away at the back of the shelves on the left. Perhaps you might like to look over them again. Today, for the first time this year, it feels as though summer has arrived. The sky is a brilliant blue. It makes me long to see you again. Yours, Susato.
Oh, so cute. What a cute ending. Oh, we got an achievement. Okay, we are gonna save. Did I let the ads finish before I talk about what just happened? Maybe I should. Okay, we'll wait a minute for the ads to finish so the poor ad watchers can come back. But let me play you guys some music. There you go. Here's some... This music is very intense, but I'm playing you guys some music so it's not, like, too quiet. But yeah, Twitch does 3 minutes of ads. They're gonna play them regardless of whether I want them to or not, and whether we schedule them or not. They're gonna do it anyway. So at least by using their stupid manager thing, I can control when they play, so we can make it the least bit of awkward as possible. That way you don't just get randomly hit by them, like, whenever. Because that's really annoying. Then, like... We'll get, like, issues where it's, like, definitely gonna play during a cutscene. And that sucks. So, this at least gives us a little bit more control over the when. And I hate that they require 3 minutes per hour, but... If you don't do 3 minutes per hour, then you have to do 1.5 every half hour, which is actually more annoying for most people, so that's why everyone always just picks 3 minutes per hour, and then you just kind of have to try to work around it. Anyway, welcome back, ad watchers. I'm so sorry that that happened at that time. I couldn't do anything about it. And then we accidentally went one dialogue box too far, and it progressed and showed the ending cutscene, which was very cute. It was Susato-san's letter to update Naruhodo-san over in England. And basically she was saying, like, yeah, I talked to Soseki-san, and there's something going on with that second case that Soseki-san was involved in over there, and my notes on that case are, you know, here's where they are in the office if you want to go review them. And I'm trying to remember what that case was, because there was the one where he was involved in the murder, but then he moved out of the room right after that. So was there something that was not shown? Or am I just, like, super brain farting, not remembering what the heck else was going on in the last game. I don't know. But yeah, like, why did they cover up Kazuma-san's death? That's a question. And then also, why was Professor Wilson killed? We don't know the answer to that either. Although, just Sherlock Holmes, not Herlock Holmes, Sherlock Holmes theorizing, I swear to God, if a Moriarty character appears in this game, and that is the whole reason behind this whole shenanigans of all this bullshit that has been happening in this game and the last game, I'm gonna lose my goddamn mind. I'm gonna lose it. So, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The memoirs of the Clouded Kokoro. That's right. Clouded Kokoro. That was the one, the Clouded Heart, where, we were just like, what is justice? Crap, what was that case about? Hold on, let me go look it up really quick. Case of the Clouded Kokoro. Adventure of the Clouded. Alright, so that was episode 4. Following McGilda's acquittal and subsequent murder in the previous episode. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, Clouded Kokoro was the one with, that was the one with, yeah, that was the one with Soseki-san. So what happened after that? Huh. I wonder. I really wonder. It's gotta be something that we didn't know about then, like they didn't show in the last game. There was apparently something else he was involved in. Okay, hold on. What was episode 5 then? Case 5 was Clouded Kokoro, so what was... Sorry, case 4. I'm trying to find... Oh, here it goes. The Adventure of the Unspeakable Story. Oh no, that's not it. Or was it? Was this case 5? Yeah, this was case 5. Episode 5. So it was Soseki-san, and then it was the stuff with the kind of the Baskerville stuff. Yeah. Huh. Okay, so we definitely missed something. There's something, they added something. So I guess we're gonna find out. I guess we'll have to find out. But it will not be next week, because next week is FanFest. So I'm not gonna be here. So we will not have an Ace Attorney stream next week, but we will resume the week after. That's the plan. So on the, pulling up the calendar, in August, we will resume in August with Ace Attorney. We'll pick up with Case 2, and we'll do the same thing we did today. We'll start by reading 1 or 2 of the escapades from the first game. Just get a little more info and cool side story, and then we'll dive into Case 2. So yeah, that's gonna be super fun. But for now, I think we will end it here for now. I take a little break. I might stream something else later. We'll see. I may do some 16. It is kind of late though. I probably won't. Maybe I'll do it tomorrow. We'll see. I want to squeeze in some more 16 time and Iron Man time, but we'll see what happens. Anyway, for now, go over here. Hey, thanks so for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. That was a really nice start. That was really fun. Yeah, I can't wait to see what's gonna happen in this game. And I'm like, I don't know yet. We'll have to see. Let's go raid Darjeeling, who finally came back to streaming after a month-long absence today. Go say hello. But yeah, we'll pick this up in 2 weeks in August, and then we'll see where the story is taking us. I'm very excited. I hope Ryutaro comes back again, because I feel like Ryutaro's gonna come back. Right? That can't just be me. It's really fun to see Susato, like, use all of her knowledge. That's very cool. Anyway, thanks all for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the stream. Thanks to everyone who stopped by. Dio Maxwell, 21 Snakes, Neoneko, DJ Mon. Thanks to all the lurkers, chatters, VoD watchers, people who peeped in. I appreciate you all. Have a great night. Have a great rest of your weekend if I don't see you. Tomorrow we will be raiding, but I'll probably try to stream something before then if I can, after we do household chores. So we'll see. But for now, thanks again, everybody. Have a great evening. Take care, stay safe, and I will see you guys soon. All right? Go spread love, spread joy. Say hello to Darjeeling Link. Give him a good warm welcome back to Twitch after his month-long break, and I'll see you guys next time. All right? Thanks again, everybody. Bye-bye.